All right. I think we're live, and we're live on Hangouts. I ain't dealing with that shit no more tonight. I'm going to try to find the room here to see if you guys can hear me. And then we really need to jump into Miss Dawn. So, if anybody can hear me out there, give me something. I got 4 in here, it seems like. Can you hear me? Give it away, True. Thank God. All right, unless the power strikes again, we'll do this shit tomorrow because I'm not restarting this live again. It's aggravating. All right, Miss Dawn, KL, how are you? We got 10 in here. We got to get moving on Miss Dawn. So
I'm good, but can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. I'm good, but I have to go pee now.
All right, well, you go take care of that.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, but I'm not going to be able to. Oh man, this is a different setup than what I'm used to, so I might get a little mucked up here.
You're fine. I'm just not screen sharing with you yet. That's all.
Oh, okay.
With that being said, I'll bring this back over here, and then we will screen share. All right, you should be now seeing the Truth Bomb logo.
Yes, I do.
All right, and that's your logo, so we're good to go there. And you want to give a little introduction to why you're coming on the show tonight, and we'll go from there.
Sure. But first, I wanted to say that I'm honored and just a little bit tickled pink to be in the company of our infamous leaders here.
Oh, leaders. Love that word.
Yeah, so just so everyone knows before I get going that I won't be able to comment in the chat because I'm on my Ms. Dawn account, and the only one that works on YouTube is Ms. Dawn, so nobody will be able to get my attention. But anyway, I've written some notes for this interview because what I need to talk about or want to talk about is pretty complicated, and I just want to make sure I kind of cover everything off. So if it kind of sounds like I'm reading from notes, it's because I am actually reading from notes. So Truth Bomb, you're going to be posting some slides of my email and other documentation, some of which I've redacted, well, all of which I've redacted, irrelevant or private information. But the main reason that I came on here was that I approached you a few weeks ago to arrange to be on a live stream because of what's been happening with me since mid last year on this platform on YouTube. And specifically what I wanted to go over was the hackings that have occurred on my emails and YouTube accounts. My channels being taken down, which were Ms. Dawn and Ms. Dawn I Am. How some of my comments are still being hidden on YouTube, and how my comments are being sent for approval for posting on most creator channels, including yours, Truth Bomb. Yeah, I don't even think you know this, but any comment that I make on any of your videos, I have to, they don't show up because I guess everything goes through an approval process, which I'm not pre-approved. Anyway, but what pushed me over the edge to want to publicly vent this was a discussion that I had with M. Collins. She's a victim, well, her husband's a victim. And it was a few weeks back, and it happened on Secret Safe with You channel. And just what happened, I was pretty upset about it, and in the end decided that I really need to talk publicly about what's been going on with my comments and my channel. So what I'll do is I'll start with the easy stuff, which is how my posts are being monitored. So if you wouldn't mind, if you could, Truth Bomb, if you could pull up the the slide that I sent you that I marked as 1. I won't be able to see it, but I'm assuming you know which one it is. It's the one with your logo on it.
Yes, it is on the screen right now.
Okay. So I'm reading my notes, so I'm not actually looking at the Hangout, but a lot of people have noticed that I generally remove my comments that I post on live streams, and actually I don't even post many comments on people's video, and if I do, they don't show up anyway. But I know it annoys some people. I know a lot of people have said, why do you remove your comments? And they make a big deal about it. But I'm going to provide an example of why I do that. And this is an example. This is a situation that happened the other night on your Truth Bomb on your chat. And I was sending comments that were directed to you to pass on to KL because she was busy driving. So after asking the same question 3 times and then highlighting your name when I asked them, I was getting no indication at all that my questions were actually being posted or seen. So eventually what happened was I asked Truth Seeker if she was seeing my questions, and she said she wasn't. And since my comments didn't seem to be posting for whatever reason, I eventually just scrolled up and erased them entirely. Now that happens all the time, but I was able to erase those comments the first few times that I'd asked the questions. But for the rest of the occasions, when I clicked on the 3 dots that appear after your name to press remove or delete, whatever that choice is, I didn't even get the drop down, the 3 dots with the drop down. So those comments that you see there, if I go to the right of them and I try to click on them, I can't get a drop down at all of, to try to delete those comments. So I didn't even have the option to do that. So I'm not sure if everybody knows what I'm talking about, but if they go to their name and they see those 3 dots, hover over the right side, they'll see those 3 dots, and they should just be able to delete them. But what happens to me is that my comments are undeletable or unremovable or whatever. And as that live stream stands right now today, if anybody goes there, they're not going to see any of these comments. But somewhere in YouTube land are these comments that I can actually see as staying there. And I can't remove them. So anyway, later that night, I made some additional comments to KL about a video I thought she should look at. And again, I got no response. And that's what the second part of those comments are. So she didn't get those either. So the bottom line is that not only are some of my chat comments watched and selectively culled for posting, they're also not removable later. So just because of that issue, I decided that I'm just going to remove everything that I can remove, given what's happened to me with my channels in the past. And I know that frustrates people and annoys people, and they think I have some ulterior motive, but I really don't. It's just a matter of I run into so many problems with YouTube comments, and I've been taken down twice because of my comments, apparently. Well, at least that's what I'm led to believe. So the pattern I've noticed is that I can say, hey, Truth Seeker, or hey, KL, how's it going tonight, or something like that. But if I say anything that matters, my comments just don't post.
Well, I find that to be strange. I did not see the comments, and I'm looking at especially the first one that says at Truth Bomb. I would have noticed that because I watch the chat all the time.
Well, there were actually a lot of comments I left that I did somehow manage to erase, but all those ones I can't erase.
I thought you could erase your own comments all the time. I didn't.
Nope, not me. So I don't know what it is. I guess those comments didn't post, and because they didn't post, even though I can see them later, you can see on your live stream, I'm looking straight at them. There they are. I see them. but nobody else saw them, and I can't erase them.
That is strange. I agree.
So then what happened, which is what motivated me to get a hold of you, was a few weeks ago I was having a conversation with M. Collins. Most people know her husband was shot 5 times with the bullets to the leg. So we're going back and forth, back and forth. This is a Secret Safe with You video. And actually, I think we actually made something like 66 comments back and forth to each other. So it was a very nice conversation. It was kind of philosophical in a way, but there were also some personal things that we were talking about, like how she feels about being re-victimized and people saying that people didn't die and all that kind of stuff. So I noticed that she was responding to some of my comments, but some of my other comments she wasn't. So I asked her, so if you could pull up number 2, Truth Bomb. And just let me know when you've got it up.
It is up now.
Okay, so I've erased everything that's irrelevant to what I'm going to say. But this is where I asked her, I said, do you see my response just prior to your one that starts with, I agree, it depends on how you define victim. And she came back to me, and there were other things she said, but she said, no, I don't see it. But what I had written, and if you move to the 3rd example I gave you.
All right, 1 second. I'll get that on the screen for you. All right, you're good with number 3?
Okay, so I just realized that isn't even the same comment. That must be another one that she couldn't see, because the one that I was talking about is, I agree that it depends on how you define victim. But anyway, so I've given you the wrong one, but she couldn't see it. That's the bottom line. And so what happened was, and I can provide that that other one if anybody really cares to see it, but what was going on was I was trying to really negotiate an understanding with the victims. And while I was having a philosophical discussion with her, there was no problem. But as soon as I said something to the effect of, I understand how you feel, or I was doing my little coaching or whatever of the victims, because I feel for these people. All those comments didn't show up. So, and she confirmed with me. So there were 3 of them that didn't show up. That other one that I'm showing here is probably the second one. So missing comments is a big problem that happens to me. And the problem is that, if people only see the part of the comments where, I'm talking about certain things, but they don't see the comments where I say, I'm so sorry what happened to you. I perhaps you could consider this or that, or maybe we could do this or that. Those comments don't show up. Then how are you actually supposed to have a conversation with somebody? And I have no idea why these comments don't show up, but it's become a big problem for me. And what I think is that someone, and I don't know who that someone is, doesn't want the community to see those things. So that doesn't work in favor of healing the community if the comments that I'm making that are compassionate or have empathy don't even show up. So the other thing that happens to me is, as I mentioned in the beginning, is that several channels, and I mean like your channel, Truth Bomb, NSERV's channel, Truth Seekers, all my comments were going into need approval by the channel holder. Now, I think Truth Seeker and NSERV have fixed that now, but most of the channels in this community don't actually get my comments, except some on the live stream, and not all on the live stream.
Well, I actually I actually have went in and approved some of your comments. I'm not sure how it gets there, but yes, I have noticed some of your comments in my approved list.
And this is what's happened to me with all the channels. I can go over to Hoover, I can go over to NServe or TruthSeeker. I mean, obviously you guys aren't trying to cull through my comments, but somehow my comments end up in your must be approved list.
Well, I can't confirm that because I've seen a few of your comments in that list, and I read every one of them, and I'm, most of the ones that go into this, I think they mark it liked for spam or something like that, or spam, or maybe spam, I guess. Most of the comments that go in there are legitimate comments. I mean, there's no, every now and then you'll get a link or something somebody puts in there, but I don't know why they do that. I'm not a big commenter, as you know, Miss Dawn. I don't comment basically anywhere hardly. If it is, I'll say good video. I mean, something like that. But I do understand what you're saying because I have seen it with my own eyes.
So maybe you might want to look at if there's any patterns. I definitely know there's a pattern with me because I had to go to TruthSeeker and I've had to go to NServe and I've had to go to different people and say, and they're not like I'm providing links or anything. It's not like I'm providing I'm just making a comment, a general comment. But just have a look at it as a creator and see if you notice any patterns other than me of certain people they're throwing their comments into your need to be approved list.
I absolutely will do that. And I'll see if there's some way I can figure out how to, where yours don't do that on my channel.
Yeah, I think TruthSeeker fixed mine, and she might be able to tell you how to do it. But I run into this all over YouTube. It's not just yours, but even people that I know, trust me, farmer or whatever, know that my comments aren't going to be rude or have links to pornography or anything like that. Still, somehow I end up in their must be approved list. So that just really got to be a big problem about 3 weeks ago or more. But before that, on the Ms. Dawn account, I had no problem. I never got anything, but I don't get comments to my comments. And that's when I realized that they're not actually even getting posted. So what I wanted to say is people wonder why I don't leave my comments up. And it's basically comes down to they're scrutinized, they're manipulated, and then my whole conversation ends up so disjointed. So what's the point in leaving the rest up? And besides that, there's obviously a reason, and it can't be that it's against YouTube policies or they just ditch my channel again. They don't have a problem doing that. That some of my comments don't show up or can't be erased. So I have to believe that I'm being closely monitored. My comments are being manipulated by someone that cares enough to do that. So the next thing I want to go on to, but I have to take a quick break.
Okay.
So if you guys could just talk for a minute, because there's one more topic that I wanted to talk about in detail.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to mute you, and I'll be back in a minute.
All right, take your time. Guys, I'm not playing that bullshit in the chat anymore. Don't come in here with that nonsense. No, it's banned from the channel for life. I'm not unbanning him. I'm done with him. That is insane. I agree, Miss Ellen. I'm done. I'm not unbanning it. I mean, blocking him. I'm over it. Now there's 3 blocked people that will stay blocked on my channel. I mean, I give everybody a chance to come in here and be respectful. And if he doesn't want to be respectful, then he can head on to the house or over to Turbers or wherever the hell he wants to go. But it ain't going to be here. Enough of that shit. Let's see. I'll do a little roll call when she's gone here. Hello, Sean. Shady J, Paladin, Give It Away True, IK, Cheryl Bull. Thanks for the comments today. Very nice. Mr. Gunderson, Ellen, always a pleasure. TIU. I'm missing anybody here. Stable Foe. Never seen that one before, but welcome. Marie D. Or RE. And I think I didn't miss anyone. If I did, I'm sorry. But everybody, welcome and thank you for coming. We'll give her just a minute to come back. And I'm sorry that I was late. And I'm sorry all that stuff went on with the new program, and then with the I don't know what the thunder did to my TV, but it doesn't work anymore. So the sound doesn't work. I had to use my headphones, but I think we're rolling now. And Miss Dawn, if you're ready to come back, we will get you back on.
Yep, I'm back.
All right, you ready for slide 4?
Okay, no, not yet. Okay, so I think the crux of the issue comes back to my channels. So some people know that I've had 3 channels on this platform. The first one I started with was Miss Dawn, and then I came with Miss Dawn I Am, and then now I'm Ms. Dawn. And I'm not going to go through the nitty-gritty details of what's happened on each of those channels, but for Ms. Dawn in particular, I am going to show people what happened with that account, and then a little bit about what happened with the Miss Dawn I Am account, because the reason I'm doing this is because I've heard over and over again that people are just making it up that their channels or emails or phones have been hacked, or even making up that, people's work or families have been stalked or called, or that, people have been doxxed. But some of the people that I know of that have been affected by the hackings include like NSERV, Marie D, Brian Askew, and probably lots of others that I've forgotten. But I think what people need to realize is that most people aren't even going to know that they're being hacked or monitored. The reason why I'm aware of what's going on with my accounts, perhaps more than most people would be, is because I don't have a cell phone hooked up to my emails. And because I don't leave any of my accounts open. What I do with any of those 3 YouTube email accounts is I go to them, I look at them, I shut them down, and they don't hook up to anything. And I know a lot of other people just leave their accounts open on their phones, and then if someone hacks into their phone, they would have instant access to the email. That's not the case for me. So every time someone hacks into my accounts, I'm given a notification of a new device going into my email. So just for a little history, I opened up my Google YouTube account called Miss Dawn sometime after October 1st, mainly so I could watch the, what they call adult videos or whatever, over 18 videos related to the event. But I ended up making comments. I didn't plan to do that. And I only ever posted a couple personal videos. I was a commenter, period. But in early September, I got a notification that an iPhone had logged into my email YouTube account. Since I don't own an iPhone, and in fact, I don't own any cell phone, I knew that I had been hacked. So if you could pull up number 4, Truth Bomb, please, and let me know.
All right, number 4 is on the screen now.
Okay, so that's my Ms. Dawn account, and on September the 11th, I got a security alert that somebody had signed into my account. If you could go to number 5. And let me know when you get to number 5, Truth Bomb.
You are good to go on number 5.
Okay, so you see this notification says your Google account was signed into from a new Apple iPhone device. You're getting this email to make sure it was you. It wasn't me. I don't have an iPhone. I don't own a cell phone, period. So I knew that was it. So then if you could go to number 6, because Google was even kind enough to notify me that my hacker's iPhone didn't have the latest apps. You could let me know when you get to 6.
You are good to go with 6.
Okay, so whoever it is that's hacking me, I just want to let them know that their iPhone apps are out of date because Google's telling me so. So is Robo Max in the chat? Does anybody know?
I have not seen him.
Okay, so I am actually just gonna say this anyway because he'll probably watch your video after, and I just wanted to bring this to his attention. He had asked me to meet up with him on another website. I think it was called Discord. I don't remember what it was. And that was around between September and October. In fact, it was the September weekend that I was hacked into. And so I did meet up with him somewhere, and we had a chat, and everything was fine. And then it was after that I noticed that he had, when I came back in January, I'm kind of jumping ahead here, but he thought that the reason why I had stopped talking to him was because Alan Dion had told him that he had informed Alan Dion had informed me to go talk with this guy, RoboMax, which made him nervous about me. But the truth was, the only conversation I might have had with Alan Dion about that was to ask him if Discord was a safe place to have a conversation. But anyway, I certainly never, Alan Dion didn't send me on any little venture to talk with Robo, that's for darn sure. But anyway, so what happened was, this happened in September 9th or whatever, 11th, whatever it was that I showed you, that this iPhone had gotten in. And my backup account for that account is a Yahoo email. The Yahoo email is also the backup account for my daughter's Microsoft Outlook account. So shortly after I received the notification that my Ms. Dawn email and YouTube account had been hacked, I also got notification that my daughter's Microsoft email account had been hacked from a US IP address. She's in Australia and I'm in Canada. So if Truth Bomb, if you could go to number 7 and let me know.
All right, you're good to go with number 7.
So this was my notification that somebody had hacked into my
Ms. Dawn, let me stop you for a second. I actually put the wrong one up there. That was number 6 again. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay, you're good to go now.
Okay, so that's a Microsoft account, Unusual Activity Science. My daughter's email, who's in Australia, and I'm here in Canada, was hacked into by an American IP address, which I've left off because it really isn't relevant. And so some of you might remember that back then I was spending a fair amount of time on NSERV's live chats, and both 5x5 News and Mr. Burgundy Channels have warned us repeatedly about how easy it is for someone to hack into our computers while using Hangouts. And that's exactly what program I was using when I was live streaming with NSERV and Mike and WalkTech and those people. It was somewhere around that time that my emails, my Ms. Dawn Gmail account were being intercepted as I typed them. I was working on an important project with someone in the community, and we were communicating back and forth in real time. As I was attempting to send emails to this person, I couldn't get access to his emails in order to respond to him. I get the responses from him, but every time I tried to respond back to the email, it would lock up and disappear completely. What I had to do was start a new email chain each and every time he sent one to me, and the person that this happened with is in the chat right now, and if they can choose to or verify that or not if they want to. But anyway, so this is all happening in September, October. So within a few months of my account being hacked, on November 9th, when I attempted to sign on my Ms. Dawn account, I had a notification from YouTube that my account was taken down for violating some unspecified policy. So if you could pull up number 8 and let me know.
You are good to go with number 8.
Okay, so you can see on November the 8th, it says I've been disabled. And actually, number 9, if you go to that one,
All right, you good to go?
okay, so that account has been taken down. It says your Google account's been disabled. And the only way they would give me my account back was to provide them with a cell phone number, which I don't have. And not to mention the fact that they obviously know that there's a cell phone associated with that account already, and that's my hacker. But anyway, I read up and I discovered that I can use anyone's cell phone as long as I can get the YouTube code that they send out to that cell phone number. So an acquaintance allowed me to use her number. So by November the 9th, and if you go back to number 8, you can see that I was back up again. And it says, have you finished securing your account?
All right, number 8's back up.
Okay, so then the next thing that happened, you can see on November 9th, I changed my password again. And then on the 10th, I went to the health forum because for some reason, even though I was back up, none of my comments were showing. So I asked them, what's going on? Why aren't my comments showing? You can see that I did that on November the 11th, maybe it's, I don't know. It's November. It must be November 10th. I did that. And then a few days went by, and so I was up and running. I was so excited. I was all over NSERC. Oh, I'm back. And then on November 13th, according to that slide I just sent you, or you have up, my account was taken down again, even though they'd just given it back to me because I had done nothing wrong. So why would they have reinstated me only to take me down again a few days later? I had to wonder at that point if the hacking that happened back in September had led to the suspicious activity on my account, i.e. did someone post something with my account or send spam emails, or I didn't know what was going on. So I resigned myself to just watching YouTube for the next, 8 or 10 weeks. I think it was the end of January. And maybe some of you have forgotten how far this drama in the community goes back, but it was last November that it was going on, and I remember being really glad that I wasn't part of the community at that time because there's just so much drama going on. I thought, geez, I would get myself in trouble here, and I'm better off just not even having an account. But admittedly, I did try to set up another account, and every time I tried to set it up from my IP address, I was required to provide a cell phone number, which I don't have, in order to be given an account. But even while I was gone off of YouTube, I still had my Miss Dawn Gmail account. And in December of 2018, a new device signed on to that email. So if you go to number 10, Truth Bomb, please.
You're good to go with number 10. Sorry.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I can't see that. Okay. So as you can see, on December the 17th, I got another security alert. New devices signed on to my account. And then my password, I changed it on the 17th again. And then I was also advised of 2 more hackings of that account, which are April 10th and 13th, I think. But these hackings tie in with my new account that I started up in late January. So I won't really talk about these April ones, but in late January, I remembered that I had a really old YouTube account, like back from 2006. And so I just signed back onto it. Funny enough, I was allowed to get back on, and I just changed my name to Miss Dawn I Am, and I was going again, back on YouTube. So on March 10th, and again on April 10th, my new Miss Dawn I Am account was attacked. So if you go to number 11.
All right, give me 1 second. Number 11 is up.
Okay, so on March the 10th and April the 10th, I got alerts that I have been compromised again. Only this is my new Miss Dawn I Am account. So pardon my French, where on April 13th, I sent myself an email telling my hacker to back off. So I figured the next time he was on there, he was going to see my message. So I put that in there. But not only was my Miss Dawn I Am account hacked, but as I mentioned earlier, my Miss Dawn email, my just Miss Dawn email was hacked at the same time. So then on May the 4th, what you can see on that email, I received a message from YouTube that my Miss Dawn I Am account had been taken down for repeated or severe violations. So I appealed that decision because I'd done nothing wrong, as I hadn't done with my Miss Dawn account. And YouTube reviewed my account, reviewed my appeal, and on May 16th, they agreed I'd done nothing wrong. So if you go to number 12, and let me know when you're there.
All right, you're good to go.
You can see I got my YouTube notification that I've done nothing wrong, which I already knew. So my Miss Dawn I Am account has actually been back up since May the 16th. I don't use that account. That's the one with my logo, the one that you see, the logo you see on as we're chatting here. It's up. I could post on YouTube. I could send emails. I could use Hangouts. I can do whatever I want in that account. But I haven't been using it because I had set up the new Ms. Dawn account in the meantime. And I don't really like messing with 2 accounts, so I just stuck with that. But that account's up. I did nothing wrong. And by now, I guess most people would have a fairly clear picture that these hackings that people have been complaining about for months, whether it be on their phone or their email, they're real events. They're happening. They're happening to people's email, even if they don't know what's happening because they're signed up to their phones and they just get direct access through your phone. But to backtrack a little on the recent hackings, I want to point out there are a couple patterns I've observed. I don't normally get email notifications when I'm following a YouTube chat. But on 2 occasions, I've received an email that looks like it's from YouTube, and it advises to click here to unfollow on a chat. I've not clicked on anything. But it was right after those emails arrived, perhaps coincidentally, I don't know, that both my Miss Dawn and my Miss Dawn I Am accounts were taken down on YouTube. Both of which I got the accounts back. But anyway, another pattern is that I always receive emails when a new device is signed into my various email accounts. When I open these security alert emails, I'm requested to review the activity to ascertain whether I recognize the device. Now, I've gotten to the point where I'm really nervous about those. But so I haven't been clicking on them since then. But when it's a computer versus a phone that has signed onto my account, I'm able to see the supposed IP address of the person that signed on to my accounts, which when it's an iPhone, I can't figure that out, but I do get an IP address for the person who signed on to my email accounts. On about four of the occasions that I've been hacked on the various accounts, I decided that since my hacker doesn't seem to have any problem getting back into my account anyway, I have nothing to lose by clicking on those links. So I dug down on the location information for those devices that are hacking me. And on several occasions, I was given an IP address. Once, did you want to say something?
No, I just clicked off because I thought you were going to go to the next picture.
I am going to go to the next one. So in a second. Once I had the IP addresses, I went to an Google IP locator to get the location of where those IP addresses are. Now, I had no idea whether people can scam an IP address, like whether they can just pretend and hack in and it's a fake address that I'm given, or if the IP locator sites on Google can be kind of jimmied to give out false information. And I think both of those things are possible, but I don't know. Either way, what I found out was that for all four IP addresses, it led me to, if you could pull up number 13, please, and let me know.
All right, you're good to go.
So that's one of the IP addresses, but there were four different IP addresses, and you can see that it leads me to the Surrey RCMP headquarters. So the RCMP is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, which is our federal, but not my local. It's not my local police. They're basically the same as the FBI in the US. So after the April hackings and then my second account being taken down by YouTube, I wondered whether I really wanted to open a can of worms by asking the RCMP if they're the ones infiltrating my accounts. But in May, I decided enough is enough, and I went to their head office. I filed an official complaint, and I spent several hours in the office. If you could pull up number 14, please. Truth Bomb.
All right, give me 1 second. Okay, there you go.
Okay, so that's the card of the file number. I've redacted everything, obviously, but that is the file that I registered with the RCMP. I had a long conversation with them, and they flatly refuted that they had been mucking in my account, but I would expect them to say that anyway. So, but what they wanted from me was, they wanted the evidence that led me to believing it was them hacking me, which was the IP addresses. They wanted to know why I thought they might have an interest in infiltrating my accounts, and I explained to them about the Las Vegas shooting. And given that they were saying it wasn't them, they wanted to know who I thought might be doing the hacking. And I was straight up with them because I got nothing to hide. So I'm left with, was it the RCMP? And if so, why would they be monitoring me? And are they really that daft to leave a trail like that I can just find it right back to their IP addresses? Or is it someone else that has the knowledge in how to fudge IP addresses? And my best guess is that's what's going on. I also had a very long conversation with the internet provider for those four IP addresses, as well as my internet provider, to discuss what's going on with my internet. And even after all that was said and done, on June the 7th, my Ms. Dawn IM account was hacked again. And as soon as I changed my password, they came right back in on June 8th. If you could pull up number 15.
All right, give me 1 second. All right, you are good to go.
So you see, on June 7th, I was hacked. I changed my password again. And on June the 8th, I was hacked again. That's my Miss Dawn I Am. Yeah, that's my Miss Dawn I Am account, which I don't even use. Not for YouTube and not for email. But anyway, so I really don't have any way to conclude this topic, and I don't really have any conclusions, and I doubt that this is concluded, to be honest, because obviously it's an ongoing issue. Somebody is very interested in me and very interested in what I've got to say, and who I'm talking to, and who I'm having hangouts with. And I've told everybody that I've had a hangout with or I've emailed with, guys, you can expect that somebody's listening in here and or watching everything that we're doing. So I do very little anymore in this community. And at that, I think I'll just pass it over to KL because I think she's got some things to add to this. Unless there's a question.
Well, I would just like to say thank you for bringing it to the attention and, showing the proof that, you have, this has been happening to you. It's not something that you're just making up or anything. I find it to be very strange with you just being a commenter, why somebody would want to do that to you. I don't really understand that. I don't think you've ever been out of line with anybody, especially me. So with that, I'd like to just say on our behalf here, I'm sorry that it did happen to you, and hopefully they get it fixed. With that, I will let KO come in.
Thanks, Tripon.
Hey, Miss Dawn. I want to say thank you for sharing also, because I have a lot to say about this topic in particular and where it leads. And I was stressing in the chat while you were talking that, I can't speak for you, but I'm guessing that this is something that is unusual for you. This isn't something that you experienced prior to your involvement in Vegas, or your research or your communication. This was something that was brand new and you had never experienced before. Is that right? Are you there?
So just so you know, KL, I can't actually hear you on our Hangout. I can only hear you by listening to the live stream. So there's probably
so you'll be delayed. That's fine. Okay.
I'm getting you guys just fine. I don't know what that's about.
I'm guessing she'll be delayed in answering me because she'll be delayed in hearing me if she's listening to me through the chat or through the live.
We will give her a second.
Yeah, I am. I'm listening to you through the live, so I'm not actually going to be able to converse with you, I don't think. I don't know why this isn't working.
Okay, well, maybe if she can listen to me through the live, Truth Bomb, can you relay if she can type, or because I can't look at the chat right now. Of course, I'm in the car again. This is a regular occurrence for me for just a little bit longer, for a couple more days. So, but I'm guessing that she has not experienced this before, just based on the fact that she is stressing about how unusual it is and how much it's really irritating her. And so I was trying to stress while I was in the chat while she was talking that, this all seems to be Vegas related. And while you say she's, quote, just a commenter, she's also a commenter who asks a lot of good questions, and she relays good information, and I know that she has researched quite a bit as far as you know, information about Vegas and victims and that sort of thing. So, you know, it seems that what she has been involved in may be of particular interest to certain people. I don't know if she can confirm that or not.
Ms. Dawn, if you can hear me, the basic question that I'm getting here is, did you incur any of this before you started Vegas, or is this the first time it's happened to you?
Truth Bomb. So I was listening through the live stream, and this is weird. No, I have never had a problem. I've never been hacked. I've never been interfered with. I have to say, I did have a stalker for 3 years on the internet, but she died, so that was good. Well, no, it's not good she died, but it was good she stopped stalking me. But other than that, no, I've never had anybody hack into anything of mine, of course, because I don't have a cell phone. You know, I'm really not somebody to track down very easily. This is all related to Las Vegas. And the only thing that they're interested in is my Gmail account and my YouTube channel, or my commenting channel.
Ms. Dawn, I just want to say too, I don't know, I'm not sure with what you're working with as far as technology and device right now, but if you can keep your YouTube on mute and just keep yourself off mute in here, I think you should be able to just talk with us as we're talking, and you can hear everything that's going on at the same time.
Thank you so much for watching this video.
What are you watching? Thank you so much for watching this video. What you watching in the car? You watch TV driving?
No, that's background noise.
All right, we'll give her just a second to catch that question from KL. And
I'm asking that question in particular, Truth Bomb, because I think, you know, here she is. Go ahead, Dan. Go ahead, Ms. Dawn.
So I honestly don't know. I've done Hangouts with NSERP a lot, and I've never used this. I don't know. I don't know what this is, but normally I do Hangouts just.
Oh my goodness. I don't think she's doing that either. The mute.
Sorry, guys. I can't do this because
it keeps screwing up on you.
well, Miss Dawn, try to exit out and come back into the link and see if that fixes it.
Okay. I'll try that.
Okay. Yeah, I got to get that other program figured out, or some other program, because
yeah, this isn't working. But
they're obviously not putting any.
I just want to stress, though, you know, my point here when I'm saying this, because I'm experiencing a lot of issues also, but I have been told straight from a person in this community, which is 5x5 News. He has hinted to me, not hinted, I mean, he came right out and said in a chat, you know, that he could see me. He could see what was in my garage. He could see when I moved my hat off my head to scratch my head. He made a joke about it. You know, I mean, if that is happening in this community, it's criminal behavior. And that seems to be what's happening. I mean, I've gone into a chat just get set a link for a video and gone into a live, and there will be 5x5, you know, making jokes saying, oh, okay, well, now that KL's here, can you go ahead and talk about this or that, you know? So, you know, call it coincidence, I suppose. And believe me, I'm the last person that wants to give him any props for having those kinds of skills. But they're criminal skills if that's what he's doing. And to me, it seems that there's a common denominator here. And this is my words. These are my words coming out of my mouth, not Miss Dawn. But it seems to be that there's a common denominator here based on the timeline that this started for her when NSERV had a problem with 5x5 back in, I think it was September when there was that whole Eric Paddock thing, you know? So I don't know if that's the common denominator for her, but it sure seems to be ringing very familiar.
Are you riding a motorcycle?
So you can hear her now? She went from watching TV in her car to riding a motorcycle. Miss Dawn, you there?
Okay, I don't know if you guys can hear me,
I
but
can hear you. I can hear you fine.
what happens is every time I try to talk, every time I did rejoin the Hangout and it worked and I could hear you, but every time I try to talk, you guys go away for me. So I can't actually hear anything you say unless I go over to the live stream and listen, which is delayed, and then I have to mute that and mute this. It's impossible. So what I'm going to have to do is just sit here and listen to you. And let me just say one thing to KL. Yes, there was that issue with NSERV back in when things were going on with him. I hadn't actually put those two together, but now that I remember, there's just been so many things that have happened in the months that I completely forgot about that. But now that I think about it, yeah, that was when, because NSERV was really upset when I went down that first time. So I'm sure there is something to that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut out of the Hangouts and I guess just listen. No, I'll rejoin the Hangouts and just listen to you guys. I won't be able to talk.
All right. Let's see if Kale's done playing with motorcycles. Apparently not. All right. Let's see here. I'm going to go through your comments while we're waiting on her to come back. Can you hear me now? No, she apparently can't. Let's see if anybody new here. Can you hear me now, Miss Dawn? She got something going on with Google. Let's see. Kim's here. Hello, April. Try to get some of the people I didn't get to.
Can you hear me, Answer?
Not insert, but
Sorry.
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Okay, well, I can hear you now. No, maybe it's just when KL comes in that I get mucked up.
Well, hopefully when she comes in, you'll be back to normal and we can continue with this. Unless you call me NSERV again, and then I'm going to have to.
I love NSERV, so that's actually a compliment, even if you don't take it that way.
I got no issues with NSERV. Discerning light. I don't know what that beep she has going on. I have my headphones on and I've heard it ever since she was talking. So, Truth Seeker's here. Hello. And WW. I do want to say something while we wait on KO to come back. I watched a video today with Farmers and Plain and Simple Truth, and I want to give both of those guys a shout out. That was a good, fun video, and it was great to see you, Plain and Simple. We have just now lost KL, and I don't know what's going on, but hopefully everything's okay, because she never did come back, and that was one loud-ass motorcycle.
Yeah, that's a bit. Maybe she's just getting into the house.
It's just very True Seeker, just to give you a little recap, we went over what happened to Miss Dawn over I guess last year almost. And we showed the screenshots, and I think we're still showing one of them, which we can cut that off now. All right, KL says she lost connection and will be back. I don't know where she said that, but. Oh, there you go. But yeah, very good, very kind words from Plain and Simple Truth, and just want to say thank you for that. And they're not here. I think Farmers is out of town, and sorry, I just got a text message that saying she'll be back in 10 minutes. But Miss Dawn, if there's anything else you would like to talk about, I'm open, because it was yours and her show tonight, not mine.
Well, I don't really want to move away from this topic, but because I know she's probably got some things to say about it, but I just really wanted to maybe talk about what happened to me on that other channel when your live stream was going on.
Okay.
I really loathe to talk about people who are attention seeking anyway. But I hadn't actually been over to that channel I've got to turn off the live stream again here. Okay. I hadn't been over to that channel in months and months and months. But what had happened is Truth and You came over to your channel, and he was saying that he wanted to make amends and he's sincere and all this. So I went over there to see if he had a change of heart or something. And when I got there, he was saying, "Oh, they're probably talking about me," and da da da. And I was like, No, I thought I thought you were here making amends over here. And so I said, no, nobody's talking about you. They don't care what's going on over here. They're having their own live stream, basically, is what I said. And that just opened up a can of worms. And a whole bunch of foul language, and a whole bunch of names, and a whole bunch of mistruths. Things that he said about me, virtually everything that he said about me was untrue. And I didn't get into it with him. I just didn't. I just kept repeating myself that I came there because I thought he wanted to make amends. But there were a lot of things he said about me. Well, everything that he said about me virtually was untrue and rude and disrespectful. And in all my many years of life, I've never, ever been spoken to by anyone like that.
That was, again, and I touched on this just the other night. It was embarrassing, not just for you. It was embarrassing for the community. And unfortunately, he has those streams where it's embarrassing every time. I don't care to say F you to every single person that's been out there. Now, granted, I have said it to one person. Not sorry. But other than that, I'm not going to sit here and cuss and fuss at every single person just because they don't agree with me. I mean, half the people in this chat don't agree with me, and that's fine. I don't care. Doesn't bother me. Everybody, and I mean everybody is entitled to their opinion. So, and there was some things in that live stream that was also untrue about me, and I touched on those the other night with Nene and KO. You know, I've never received $1 from YouTube or any YouTuber or anybody else for that matter that does the Vegas thing. And yes, my channel is monetized and it will continue to stay monetized. I do plan on, after I'm done with Vegas, doing other things with my channel. So, and I'm not sure why I'm still in Vegas, what I'm going to do with the money. If I ever make it to $100, I might just have a drawing and give it to one of my viewers. I mean, I don't need the money. This is something I like to do and I enjoy. And I do agree that, you know, we're in a tough subject here. We are. But we're coming up on 2 years. So, I mean, I'm sorry, but it is what it is. And go ahead, Miss Dunn.
I was just going to say, I've never been involved in anything like this community. And, you know, but I have been, like I say, I was stalked for 3 years and it was a woman. So I do understand there are people out there that do strange things, but, you know, I was threatened that he knows my name, he knows my family, he knows where I live. He implied that I participated in the doxing of him on a Truth in You live stream, which I knew all about him a long, long time ago, and I didn't dox him to anybody, not even the people I was closest to in this community, not even people who were friends with him or anything. I mean, I definitely said he's not my cup of tea, but I did not, you know, I didn't ever say that he, you know, or specifically say anything that he's done. He said that I accused him of talking abusively towards women. I've never said that about him, although I would say that about him now after what he said to me. And he threatened that if he ever finds out that I doxed some specific person, he's gonna whatever. I don't know what his threat was, but I would never dox anybody, never, and certainly not somebody who's my friend. And to even imply that is so disrespectful. And the other thing is that he said that I had arranged several months ago or a few months ago, whatever he said, to have a private conversation with him, that I had arranged all this. And I can tell you that I never arranged to have a conversation with him. I did have a private conversation with him, a short one. I don't remember what was said. He seems to think it was some private conversation, but it wasn't private. There was nothing said that I remember. It was completely irrelevant to me, completely forgettable. I don't remember anything he said. And I did not arrange it. The third person arranged it. And I went into that very reluctantly. And I don't remember anything about it. So all those things that he said about me were untrue.
Well, yes, and there was a lot of people that were, I don't know if you continued to watch after, but there was a lot of people that he said lies about. And my God, the language, especially that he used against Pastor Mo, I mean, I really got no words for that shit. That's ridiculous. And I mean, I believe in the 2 hours that I did watch, it was 250 F-bombs, one way or the other. And again, it's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing for the community, and it's embarrassing for everyone. Now he's over there, I'm being told, wanting to make peace. Well, no. You don't get to just be that way and then, oh, everything's okay because now you want it to be okay. That's not how this works. It's not how life works. And I do not want anything to do with them.
Do you mean literally right now he's over there wanting peace, or do you mean like the other day?
No, that was, I guess, the video just, it was yesterday or before. I don't know. I didn't watch it, but I was told.
Yeah, that was when your chat was going on, and that's actually why I went over there, because I really thought he wanted to make peace, and I knew that that's what your chat was supposed to be about. So I went over there just to see what was, why is Truth in You coming back here and saying he's sincere, he wants to make peace, and then I go over there and he's like, they're probably talking about me and blah blah blah, and I'm like, what? No, they're not. And that just opened it up. It just opened it wide up for him to. I think he's been harboring a lot of anger towards me for a long time, and I'm not sure why, but he definitely opened up some whoop ass on me.
Well, I don't think, and I can say this, and I believe this, Miss Dawn, and I'll take your opinion on it if you'd like to give it. I don't think people hate me. I think they hate what I say, or what I've said about the actual crime. I don't think they actually hate me. I mean, there's probably a few, but I think it's because you don't stand with the narrative, and that guy is just one guy who, if you don't believe what he's saying, then it's F you every damn time. And I used to talk to the guy, and then finally I got fed up, especially when that first FU video came out. It pissed me off, and that's when I made the video back against him. And thanks, Johnny, I appreciate it. But you're here.
Well, that's actually when I got turned off the channel, and I haven't been back since. So I don't even, all I know is what people talked about. Like I've heard people in the chat say, oh, did you see this or did you see that? No, I didn't see it. I didn't see that. I didn't see the clowns. I didn't see any of that stuff that was going on. But I believed it, because back in January when we got that abusive video, and then top it off with some cockamamie ideas in my estimation of things that happened, I just went, no, I don't need this. It's irrelevant to me. So I have said, that's pretty much the only thing I've ever said about him publicly, is that what he's got to say is irrelevant to me. And if it's irrelevant to other people, they should just move on and don't even watch it. I've said that a million times. And people have said to me, well, it's like driving past a train wreck, or what if he says something about me or whatever? And I'm just like, whatever. I mean, he'll go away if you just ignore him, and he didn't after weeks and weeks. I mean, obviously this has been going on since January, seriously. And we've wasted so much time on it, and we've got so much work to do.
Yes, and we do have a lot of work to do, and we want to get it done. And I think that Kale was wanting to touch on this subject also, and I'm tired of touching on this subject. I'm really tired of touching on the subject. I've said how I feel. I'm not making peace with him. He can do whatever he wants, go to politics. He can, whatever it is that he wants to do, I don't care. She says she should be back on in 2 minutes, so that's about 10, guys. So about 11:45, she'll be back.
You've got her figured out, have you?
Yeah, I worked with her a lot.
Well, you know what? I have never. The only time I've ever had any conversation about this in any public way was once on NSERF. He was poking at me about it because he knows what I really think, and he was poking me because he knew. and I said, just like, said a bunch of swear words, even on his live stream. But other than that, I have not really had anything to say except this is irrelevant. This is really irrelevant to why I'm here.
And that's where I've heard those exact words come out of KL's mouth 150,000 times. I promise you. It is. It's all irrelevant to what we're doing here. I'm not a bad person. I just think different than, some people.
Yeah, but you know what? I think different, but I don't think that much different. I just think, I'm accepting of the fact that we have 58 deaths. I'm accepting of the fact that we've got this many injuries. I'm not going there other than that belief. I'm working within those parameters. I'm working with how many thousands or tens of thousands of extremely traumatized people. A lot of them would have been, no matter how you look at it, because I know somebody who was there that night. I know quite a few people who were there that night. In fact, one of my friends, one of my daughter's acquaintances, he died. He didn't come home that weekend. Now, what happened to him, I'm not sure, but he did not come home that weekend. And we're here in Vancouver. And so my heart goes out to all those people that suffered in whatever way they suffered. And I've never challenged that. But you can't even say that there was more than just that happening. If you say anything more than that, like layers on this situation, then you're against them. And he actually said the other night to me, you're either with me or you're against me. And I'm not with him.
Yes, that was one of his favorite sayings. And that's exactly how he does right there. If you don't agree with him, then it's F you. Plain, how about this? That's plain and simple truth. I mean, that's exactly what it is. And I've known, let's see, I'll just look up here. 4RE, there's one. I know how she feels. I know she doesn't, think like I do, but she's good to go with me. And I would never even try to push that on. And I said, with me making the videos that I make, it's your choice. It's your choice to believe whatever you want. I'm just showing you what I see. That's it. Now, again, I don't. Sorry, I was reading. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't, whatever you guys believe is whatever you believe. But the whole things with the doxing and the, putting people's houses online, and you're really harming. I mean, you could harm these people. People that might not like them could go out there and harm them. And let's just think about this. It's not the hardest thing in the world to get somebody's address if you know their name. It's really not. But when you broadcast it to the world for it to be seen, I don't know. I think most of my lives get about 800 views now. I don't know how many is clicking on and off and on and off. It doesn't matter to me. But you're harming people. You're putting people in harm's way when you shouldn't be.
Is KL back?
She's back, but she's not talking yet.
Okay.
I'm back. I was just listening to what you guys were saying.
Did you get hit by a motorcycle?
Actually, there was an accident right in front of me, and that was a little hairy for a minute. So I'm sorry about that. It obviously totally unexpected and very loud. So, but everything's fine here anyway, or with us.
All right. Can you, Miss Dawn? Can you hear her now?
No, I can't hear. As soon as she comes on, I can't hear anything she says unless I go over to the live stream.
All right. Well, I'll just let you mute, and you can listen to her on the live stream then, because I don't know why that's happening to you, but I'll hand the floor back over to you, KO, if you want to pick up where you left off.
Well, honestly, I mean, I had a lot that I wanted to talk about tonight and go over. I'm a little frazzled now, just after what I just watched, so I'm not concentrating on exactly everything that I want to talk about. So I do want to say, though, I want to reiterate, as I was trying to say when I got disconnected earlier, that I absolutely do believe that with what is happening with Miss Dawn, I've seen other people have these, issues and talk about these issues. I do absolutely believe that it is Vegas related. It does have something to do with Vegas, and I don't want to talk about these certain people in the community. I don't want this to continue to be a topic, but there are certain people in this community that have made themselves out to be incredibly suspect, incredibly suspicious. And then those same people try and go and plant seeds with others about, people who are just here to research or people who are just here to get information. And I happen to be one of those people. They're the same person I was talking about before, has gone around 5x5, has gone around and tried to imply that I, of all people, was behind that Ma Kettle channel, that I had something to do with that. He also tried to pull that bullshit about the Active Soul account as well. He is trying incredibly hard to put me in a position where I would be questioned, where I wouldn't be viewed as someone who would be welcome in this community, as someone who is trying to harm other people. And I am really, really starting to wonder why I am such an important topic for someone who claims over and over and over that everything that I do, everything that I research is of no interest to him. And these are messages that I've received from him directly. And as far as the other person, 10, we'll call him, obviously this is Vegas related with him as well, but this goes beyond just Vegas with his constant manipulation and constant tactics on how he portrays what has occurred over the last year, acting as if he was attacked, acting as if he was doxxed. And I'm going to say this, and if I have to, I'll do it one more time with the screenshot. I don't have the capability of doing that right now, but I'm going to say this right now and hope everybody is listening to what I am saying about his claims of being doxxed. And how that went down is that I was stalked, harassed, degraded, insulted, videos made about me in the middle of the night and other people for about 5 months. And this happened at the end of 2017 into 2018. I'd had enough. I looked into who he was. I didn't go out and tell anybody at that moment in time except for 2 people that were very close to me, or so I thought, very close to me at the time. And I shared with them some information that I had found. And I was concerned about why he was so interested in me, why he would not leave me alone. And I had a reason to be concerned. And it continued and it continued. I asked him one question, which nobody would understand what that question meant, who it was, nothing, because I wanted him to know that I knew who he was. And it was under my comment thread because he constantly chased me around in comments. And then he accused me of threatening his family, of doxing him, I don't know, sending threat mail to him at his house. I don't even remember everything that he said. He then continued to chase me around in comments under an account, well, several accounts, but one in particular called Facts First. And I had commented on Farmers for Truth video when he went out there and tried to say that because 10 had asked him to say it, that his channel was taken down. And I had went out there and made a comment on there, and then this Facts First kept coming under my comment thread and just wouldn't stop commenting. And I said his whole name. I said it, well, if it isn't Daryl. And then my comment goes on to log exactly what I had been experiencing and to leave me the hell alone. That was in April of 2018. Now I am happy to share that screenshot because that's where he's saying, oh, she doxed me. She doxed my family. She went out there and said my information. I did not dox him. I hope that people can understand the word and the definition, because doxing is when you go out there with malicious intent and attack someone with their personal information so other people can also use it maliciously. I stated his name with intent, with absolute intent, and the intent was for him to leave me alone. I had been going through this for months, and I wanted him to leave me alone. And from April of that comment, from April of 2018 until December of 2018, he actually did leave me alone as far as following me around in comments, at least under his name. Now, I believe that he was actually talking to me and talking about me under other names, but here nor there. I didn't go to his channel. I was sent information. I was sent a comment by him where he said that when his, quote, internet investigation was over, he was going to make Paddock's guns look like toys against me. Okay? So I want to make sure that people understand that it was not me attacking 10. It was not me doxing 10. It was not me out there causing problems with 10. I wanted him to leave me alone. I had information on him, and as God is my witness, I never gave one person the documents that I had found and had on him. Not one person. I didn't give them to anyone. I was in a small group for months who I thought were my friends. I thought that we had developed a relationship or a friendship that would stay intact. And did I tell them about it? Absolutely. Did I go out there publicly and talk about it? No, I didn't. I did not. I did not do that. I told a small group of people. There were 4 in the group total, including me. And I shared the information as far as talking about it. I never gave any documents to anyone, ever. It didn't happen. The documents that surfaced from other people came from other people, did not come from me. Nor did I ever encourage someone to go out there and look at him. I didn't do any of that. That is not true. That it just did not happen that way. And I didn't want him in my part of the community or in my part of my research and my investigation. So I stayed away from his channel. I mean, that's just what I did. And then there was an exchange in December on the church committee's channel. And he then apologized profusely for what he had done. He wanted me to email him, which I never did and would never do. But I told him, quit going out there and telling everyone that this was just some spanking comment. Just drop it altogether and we're good. No problems, because he was in this thread talking about this spanking comment, because everybody likes to act like that's the only thing he ever said to me, and that's bullshit. But he was in this thread and I said, just drop it and we're good. So then I had went on a live stream of his a couple of times as a commenter, went in the live stream. As a matter of fact, in December, there were live streams where I was in there and he was asking questions, and he even said, I'm asking Kale this question. I'm asking Kale, I trust her. I know she's going to answer the question. I'm asking Kale. So as far as I knew, it was water under the bridge. Everything was fine. We were moving on. Now, what happened from then until the time that, in late February, March, where he came out and did a video where he put out my whole name. And this was after I was doxxed in January. And then, and side note, come to find out that he very well could have had something to do with those doxing videos based on information that I was given. And he came out with that video saying that accusing me of extortion, accusing me of being from the 9/11 community, that I came from Sandy Hook, that I use sock accounts, that that I'm just this horrible person who's attacked his family. I mean, it literally came out of nowhere that all of a sudden I'm just this, horrible person who attacked him. And then, from that point on, because I know you people are paying attention to this stuff, because I see the same people, as much as we don't want the drama in the community, you all hear it. You all hear what's going on. You all hear the things that are being said. And that man seemingly made a video about me, attacking me, saying something derogatory about me, calling me names, insulting me, whatever. It seems to me that went on for about literally 3 months straight. And it's still going on to this day. It's still going on to this day. Along with that, when I'm referencing the side note about the information that I received, there was a comment that was included in the Ma Kettle video that was my comment made on BitChute 5 months ago. That same comment was referenced in my doxing video, and that same comment was put in this Ma Kettle video, but the screenshot said 1 day ago, as if it was just made. It was actually 5 months ago. So it was the same screenshot. And I will tell you, the person who went over and has admitted that they took those screenshots was sent over to BitChute to look at my comments by Daryl and Mike Turber from 5x5 News. Now, I'm not sure why that would be. I'm not sure why my comments would be so significant to them. I'm not sure why I am on their radar so much. I'm not sure why when I pull in my driveway, Mike Turber says as I pull in my driveway that he can see the green cart in my garage. I'm not sure why he makes a joke about me scratching my head as if he can see what I'm doing. I'm not sure why he would sit there and say that I've just entered a live chat, as I actually did, unless he is participating in something that is definitely criminal, because I am telling you, by no means is he a government agent. There's no way. So I'm just letting you know that this is Vegas related. There is something weird going on. There is something very strange going on with someone who would go out there, who claims he's here as a victim advocate, and would intimidate, especially women, the way he does, because he does do that. And there are comments left all over, 5x5 leaving comments all over. I know of 3 women in particular that he has tried to intimidate and harass. But there's something to be said for a, quote, victim advocate who's here for victims and survivors, but yet then goes and claims that he can identify someone being a part of a channel that everyone has questions with in this community, and that's 93.6% them based on some bullshit graphology app, but then wants to turn around and defend that person at the same time. And if you think that all of this stuff is not related somehow to Vegas, I mean, I don't know. We'd have to be blind to deny that. And I have had enough. I've had it. I've had enough of it. It is just bullshit. I will not be intimidated, threatened, coerced, accused, manipulated. I am not going to take part in that. And if any of you out there think that I had something to do with that Ma Kettle channel or those videos or the information that was out there, well, you come on this live right now, or you come in this chat right now and we'll talk through it, because that is absolute bullshit. I would never do that.
You gonna
Are we
breathe
still
for a
there?
second? You gonna breathe for a second? I don't think you breathed.
I'm making up for lost time. I was stuck in nowhere's land for a little bit.
All right. Well, I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm sorry you're all right. I hope they're all right. I mean, I can't say I disagree with anything that she said. Well, I don't disagree with anything that she says. I mean,
It's more than just a truth bomb. I mean, you've lived it with me. You know what's going on. You can certainly say more than you just don't disagree with it, because my God, I mean, there are more people in this community that's living this truth, you know, that's been through this. And it's high time that people put a voice to it instead of just sitting here and, you know, wondering what the hell is going on. You know, I mean, we the people should have control over at least this little part of the world, your little part of the world, your little part of your life in this community. And I am not going to be intimidated by this. And I'm certainly not going to have these little, you know, trails around me where, you know, this little insinuation is dropped here and this little insinuation is dropped here. And people are seemingly manipulated into thinking that I would take part in any of this. And that seems to be the plan. That seems to be the plan here, what's going on. And I don't get it. I thought you were here for the victims and survivors. Why the hell are you chasing me around?
Again, everything I agree with, and yes, I did live it with you. I still live it with you. Every day. I mean, you guys don't get to see what goes on behind the scenes, and now that it seems that the attacking is starting to go on behind the scenes instead of actually in front of our faces. And another thing that they're trying to do is and I'll just come out and say it because I don't care. They're trying to take this whole peace thing. Think about who's doing the peace things. JCP, 10 follower. Who was the other one? The Saint. Now the Saint was cool, but another 10 follower. Seems as Smokey Perkins has become a 10 follower. Cool, whatever he wants to do. But now he's on the peace train, and now 10 on the. I'm not buying that shit for a minute. All they're trying to do is I'm not going to get on board with that because it's not genuine. If it was genuine, then maybe I would. But I'm not buying into it. And guess what that's going to? It's going to paint a bad picture on me and make me look like an asshole to the community. Well, sorry, asshole here. Again, I don't want peace with those people. I just want them to leave me alone. And if you don't like that, then there is an unsubscribe button, and you're more than welcome to hit it. You don't ever have to watch or listen to me ever again. But I am not falling into their piece of shit peace treaty. That it's just a setup just to make me look like an asshole because I'm not going to follow it. So if you think I'm an asshole, see it. I don't care. And she has every right to be upset as she is. Now those early days when all that shit was happening in 17 and early 18, I wasn't there. I didn't even talk to KL. As a matter of fact, I didn't talk to too many people at all. I think it was farmers, and I think eventually, I don't know what day it was, but farmers hooked me up with Luke. And that was the first time that I started talking to anyone. And I think that was probably February, March of 18. So, but yeah, she has every right to be upset as she is. I mean, when you're pushed to a point, I mean, you think I like having live streams where we have to come on here and defend ourselves every fucking night. It's pathetic. It's very pathetic. And I mean, I see that. I don't comment, but I do see the comments, and I get called a money grubbing, all kinds of shit. I don't care. What people think about me, I really don't care. I do have friends in this, and I just call it the neighborhood. I have friends in this neighborhood, and I do care what they think about me. But in my subscribers, I mean, I care what they think about me. But again, if you don't like me, that unsub button's sitting right there for you. I try to be nice to everyone. I do have a past here. I'm not saying I'm perfect, as does everyone. And I'm with KL when the shit's getting old and it's and it's trying to pin shit on us that we didn't fucking do, it's not going to happen. It's not going to go that way. And I'll be the first one to get on here every damn day and call it out. Because the people in this community that do know me know I don't do shit like that. They know I don't stand for it. They know I won't be a part of it. So with that being said, anything else, KL?
Can I just sneak in here to see if you can hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you.
Okay, good. So whatever the problem was, it's fixed now.
Okay, so you can hear her?
I could hear her the last time she was talking. I could hear her on the Hangout. So I don't know. Let's see what happens now. KL?
I'm here.
Awesome. I can hear you on the Hangout.
Yay. Sorry, I'm just got home here. So I did want to go into something that you were just talking about, because Truth Bomb, when you bring up, the JCP thing, I have been accused. I was accused. There was a group that I was put in, a YouTube chat, which I talked about this. I talked about this on the last live. I talked about the YouTube chat that I had been put into. And I honestly can't remember who had put me in it, but I'd been put in this chat. I was in this chat for less than 24 hours and barely talked. But I may have said, oh, how did I get in here? Because I didn't know how I was put in there. But I was in that chat less than 24 hours. And all of a sudden, there's this uproar from the people in this chat, two in particular, that there was a leak provided to the community, and who the hell is leaking information in here? And it turned out that the leak was because one person who I actually happened to despise at the time, which was Truth Seeker, used a word that had actually also been used in this group. Okay? I mean, really? But let's keep in mind, I despised Truth Seeker at this point in time. And so there's this leak and the group gets shut down, and boom, there's just this unrest on who's doing the leak. And within another 24 hours, JCP goes out on a live and for 2 hours sits there and accuses me of being this leaker. Starts talking about this Facebook group that we had been in, which I had been put in, I think it was January of 2018 by Eddie Schmitz. And it was nothing but these, people in this group sharing these blurry pictures, trying to find, cutouts of axes. And I mean, I barely participated in there, and I turned off the notifications in this separate group because I didn't understand what they were talking about. They messaged 24/7. My phone went off nonstop. And I just truly could not relate to what they were looking at the time. But JCP was in that group. JCP had all these blurry pictures in there. And he had went off the rails one time and accused me of stealing a blurry picture out of his Facebook group, which I have all of that documented. So when he went and started accusing me of leaking from this one chat group, I contacted him and we had an exchange about it. And then he apologized to me, and then also went out and apologized. He also went out and apologized to on a live. He went out and apologized on a live as well. And then he did it again. I mean, there are these themes with these people where it seems like, to me, the way it looks to me is that it's as if there is this concerted effort to try and pin something on me, anything on me, whatever they can find. There's this concerted effort to do so. And it seems to be manipulating in the action, because I will get, when I confront that person and I say, what are you talking about? and they say, you know, oh, I apologize. Oh, you know, you're a stand-up person, you're this, you're that. And then, you know, within 24 hours, you go out and say something exactly the opposite of what you just said to my face, to me personally, and try and hang me for something, which is exactly why I had the problem with Blake Perkins on that Truth Bomb Live when he called in, because he did the same thing, but he did it twice. I don't go for that. I am not okay with that. I am not okay with people acting one way to your face and trying to manipulate you behind your back, which seems to be human nature quite a bit lately, or in this world these days. But there seems to be a step further here with the intention behind it. There seems to be an intention behind it. And I think that the people that I'm talking about right now in particular, I don't think that their intention is to, you know, have, I don't think that they have personally any problem with me. I think that they're being led to believe something about me that isn't true. That's what I believe. And that's a concern for me. That's a real concern, especially because I know where it's coming from. And, you know, the one in particular that I am especially concerned about is also the one that, you know, has direct contact with the attorney who alleges that she's representing victims and survivors in this whole debacle. There is a problem here with that. And there is a problem here that you would take so much time and effort to focus on me or what I'm doing or what is going on in this community or Miss Dawn. I'm not saying that, you know, that it is the same person that Miss Dawn is having her issues with, but the timing of her issues based on what else was going on with, you know, who she had working relationships with in this community, to me is not a coincidence.
So KL, I was looking at a video the other day. I don't know which one it was, to be honest. It might have been the Ma Kettle, but I don't think so. And there were some comments about there's something going on in the background in our cult, something that we don't know about, that is being manipulated, that is being coerced in some way, and we should be afraid of it. And so they seem to be alluding to that some of the people in our community are up to something, and I don't know what they're alluding to. But I have to say that when that was said, I sort of stopped and I went, is there something I don't understand here? Is there something I'm not seeing? When for me everything seems so black and white, like really black and white of what's going on. So I just wanted to bring that up because that's bugging me.
Miss Dawn, I didn't see the comments, but, you know, that goes hand in hand with what I'm talking about right now, because, I mean, I happen to know for a fact that someone that I am very close with received a call, and this person insinuated to them that, you know, that there was information leaked by, you know, someone in our quote circle, someone in our group, you know, and that it was malicious in intent. And I was definitely the one that was getting the blame for that. And now this person knows better, you know, I mean, they know better. They know that I would never do that. See, the thing is, the people that I feel are trying to manipulate and plant these questions in people's minds, plant this, you know, this information. The problem that they're running into is the fact that I have a very small circle, if you want to call it a circle. You know, I don't, they have this impression, it seems, that there's this secret group or, you know, this secret meeting or something that you know that occurs, and it's ludicrous, you know, to even think about. I have a very small circle. I talk to very few people in this community as far as having, you know, ongoing conversation, but the ones that I talk to, I'm sure, can be identified pretty easily. And one of those people was who was reached out to. And the fact is, the people who are reaching out do not seem to have the ability to think from another perspective. You know, they seem to only be able to think from their perspective, which is somewhat, you know, manipulating, isolating, you know, intimidating, criminal behavior. And the problem that they're running into is the fact that I have real relationships with the people that I currently talk to. They know me. They know who I am. They know why I'm here. They know that I have no malicious intent in being here. I have no ulterior motives. I have no reason to be anything other than me. I'm sorry, hold that thought one second.
I think this is where you can talk Truth Bomb.
Oh, I thought you were going to take over the stream, Miss Dawn. I'm sorry.
I talk more tonight than I usually do in a week.
Sorry about that. You're actually getting to experience my real life, you know, and that's what I'm talking about. You know, the people that I talk to know who I am, what I represent, you know, what I'm about. I'm a real person with real family, real, you know, day-to-day things to deal with, you know, and those things go on in my life as I have had an interest in Vegas, as I have a genuine, no malicious intent you know, interest in Vegas. I am not here for any other reason than to figure out what this event was about. That's it. That's why I'm here, and that's the only reason why I'm here. I don't have ulterior motives. So these people that are, you know, that are reaching out to who I would consider my circle, my friends, they know better. You know, they know that what they're, you know, what is being suggested is not true. They know that there's no way that, you know, that these things are happening. They know it. They know there's no way I would have anything to do with that, because they know me and they know that I am the real deal, you know? And that's the problem that these people are running into, along with the fact that their ego seems to, you know, seems to convince them that they can manipulate people into believing what they say, which seems to happen or work on occasion with crowds. But on top of that, you know, they do not have the ability to understand what it's like to have a real relationship with somebody, and you're not going to be able to, you know, to insert your lies into that. And that is what has been happening in this community. And I want to talk about that video in particular that was put out the other night, because that video in particular was put out because I want to be able to say this without going into too much detail about the video itself or who it was about. So I'm not really sure, you know, Truth Bomb, you might want to step in here and help me out with this, but
Kale,
the fact is,
let me just say that I watched that video and I haven't got a clue who it was or what it was about. I looked at that thing and I went, I don't know who this is. I don't know what it's about. And in fact, had a conversation with somebody that I trust in the background and said, don't even tell me. Don't even tell me whose house this is or where this location is. I don't even need to know. So I bet you a lot of people don't know. So it's
well,
best.
and that's why I don't want to go into detail about it, because I don't, you know, I don't want anyone to know either. And I only happen to know because I don't want to say that either, because it, you know, it's just, you know, I have seen pieces of that before is all, you know, I mean, so, and you know, not in a, I don't know how to even say that, where it's, you know, the fact is, I believe that was put out because there were some things that were said in lives before that, and there were insinuations a few weeks before that, because there were only a select amount of people that would even know what that was all about. And I feel like that video was put out to try and put that on TB and myself. And I
can
have
agree
no
with that.
words. I have no words for that bullshit. I am just disgusted by it.
Okay, so
I'm
I have to
disgusted by it.
ask. I have to ask because I have this opportunity to be with the infamous
We are not.
leaders.
Stop saying that, Miss Dawn. You know, that is that's one thing, I am not trying to be, I have a voice, yeah, because I chose finally to have one, I went a
I'm
long
just
time without
teasing
having one.
you. Come
No, but I'm
on.
not saying it because you're saying it, but there are,
No, I
there are
know.
these things being said, oh, she thinks she's queen bee. I don't think anything. I just want to talk about what I want to talk about. Is that a crime?
Well, that's what
You know?
makes it so funny to say it. But I have to ask a question. I have my own beliefs about this, and I've had them. Oh, man, my beliefs haven't really changed much in almost 2 years now. But I have to ask, what is the motivation for these people to do this? To do what they're doing, to manipulate things like, oh, you should, if you only knew what was going on in the background, and to try to join people in, and to hack into people's accounts, and to make up lies. Like, what is the motivation? Why would anybody want to do that? I don't get it.
That is something that I ask myself every day, because I know what, I know that, as far as who I think it is, they claim that they've got no interest in what I have to say, and I'm an unhinged, moronic idiot, and I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But at the same time, I seem to be the hot topic in just about every video that's made by these people. Just about everything they say, their comments, I am always, in their comments, I am always the highlight of their conversation. I'm always, mentioned, or, have to be, quote, put in my place, or, debunked by the information I put out. So, I guess that, the information I put out must have some sort of validity to it. And that's the only thing I can come to the conclusion on. That's where it leads me every single time.
And
I try and sort it out in my head. That's where I go.
I think that to answer your question, Ms. Donna, I think at the beginning it was my message, but my message ain't nowhere near as harsh as some of the other people's messages that that's came through this place. I don't go out on every single live and just scream, nobody died. I don't do that.
That isn't even my message at all. That's your separate message, and which of course I got the brunt of.
Well,
But
again, and I said it the other night, and I'll say it again. I just don't believe anyone died at the actual venue. Now, if they died in other things and stuff going around in Vegas, because again, I'm sure people die in Vegas on a daily basis. It's a crazy ass town. But I don't come out here. I don't just keep throwing it in their face, I don't do that. So I think at first it was the message that I had said, and then I think it just became a pure hatred of me after that. And unfortunately, for some of the things I've said, other people have taken the brunt for, as KL just said, and just, I guess that's the best way I can answer it. Some people tend to forgive people's, some people don't. I'll use an example of, there's two known commenters that have always said that, what they said, big Cornwall followers, and they get nothing, not even a quarter of the shit that I have to endure on a daily basis, and I don't know why. That's why I think it led to just hatred for me personally. Either that, or I just have a bigger voice and more people watch me, and I don't know the answer to that, but that would be my opinion.
Okay, I have another question, because I'm sure this. Here I end up doing the interview on your channel. So my understanding, and maybe I'm going to be stepping out of line here and just don't answer if you don't want to answer. But my understanding was there is a pretty good relationship between yourself, KL, and a few other people in the community in the beginning. And there was a good working relationship on what might have happened.
It was a very good relationship, and I don't know if KL, you want to go into what happened. I mean,
I want to ask.
Didn't ask your question yet.
I just want to ask, you know, what do you think in retrospect, looking back at what happened in those conversations and what's transpired since then? And you can be very vague if you don't want to.
I don't have to be vague, and I don't have to. I mean, I will tell you exactly how this occurred. Exactly. Okay. It started on September 18th of 2018. And I remember that date because of what occurred on that day. We had just gone through weeks of addressing an asshole of a, I'm sorry, but I mean, just to me, a worthless POS in this community, which is Alan Dion. We had just gone through weeks of addressing his just constant degradation and harassment of CL. It was never ending. And he had went out in a comment and had said in a comment under a video that Truth Bomb had put out there of the tour that Eddie Smith had done in Paddock's house. And he went out there and just slayed her in a comment. And we had had enough. And so there was a live that occurred. It was called the Southern Boys Show. And that was Secret Safe with You and Truth Bomb. And they addressed Alan's behavior on that show. And CL had come on and talked about it. And then, you know, we had done, you know, went out there and just made sure that people understood what he was doing and how he was, you know, insulting her and degrading her and that sort of thing. And, you know, this went on for, you know, we had gone and done the live and planned all, you know, all of the things that we were going to talk about and, you know, bring up the examples of what he had done to her and, you know, so on and so forth. We did the live, and then and then there was the live planned for Paladin and Turber on September 18th. And that day, you know, we all talked during the day that day, and you know, CL had said, I'm going to take the advice of my friends. I know that this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm just going to ignore him from now on. You know, we've obviously shown, you know, the error of his ways, and, you know, and I know you guys have my best interest, and I'm just going to stick with what we've agreed on here, and this is the best way to handle it. And then she went out into the live that night, and Alan had been timed out by the other mod that was on there, actually, and the other mod was Truth Seeker. I was a mod, and CL was a mod. This was on Burgundy's channel. And Alan had been timed out by Truth Seeker, and he comes back in and he wants to know who put me in timeout, and he accused both CL and I. And I said, you know, wasn't me, and keep my name out of your mouth. And then CL just kind of continued, kept going back at him, and to the point where it was distracting. And so, you know, after the live was over, I hopped back on a Hangouts call that Secrets and TB and CL were on, and they were in the middle of talking about it. And TB was expressing how, you know, how kind of irritated he was. I don't want to speak for you, Truth Bomb, but he was kind of speaking about how, like, frustrated he was that it was occurring. Yes, because we had spent so much time.
I went to Alan Dion personally to get him to stop attacking her.
To ask him to stop. And so I jumped, you know, I'm on the call, and I was asked by CL, what do you think? And I said, I'm just wondering when enough is going to be enough. That's all I said. she hung up, and you know, and that was the beginning of the end, according to what was happening at the time. Okay, that was the beginning of the end of our friendship, and I was just blown away. I mean, I was blown away by it. I had sent her a message later that night, and I said, you know, I have your best interests at heart. I didn't mean to upset you. I just don't want him to constantly be able to get under your skin. You know, that's all I meant by that. You know, she wouldn't respond, and she waited another 24 hours before she did. And things were not the same. Now, the day of the live, there was something else I was doing as well. And a few days before the live, and I had started to look at the Melissa Ramirez video. And I hadn't really paid attention to it before then. Okay. I didn't really pay attention to anything 5x5 did until he started running his mouth about Levi Hancock. That's when he came on my radar. I didn't pay attention to, I thought he was a wannabe journalist, that I had heard something about him working at CNN or trying to get on at CNN. And I honestly thought he was just some, you know, trying to make his way. I didn't really pay attention to anything he did prior to that. So that was at the beginning of September, or in July sometime, when he started talking about having Levi Hancock's phone number. And then I started looking at the Melissa Ramirez video. And we were all looking at it. We were looking at it in the group. We were talking about it in the group. We were, we were going over the information in the group. We were looking at the way the video did not have time skips like a motion censored camera would. There were just a lot of oddities in the in that video. And I had spent the day of Paladin and 5x5 Live looking at, the times and the skips and that, and CL knew that. So then after the issue with the Allen and the Allen comment, we fastly, soon approaching was the anniversary of October 1, which we had planned a live interview for her while she was in Vegas. So, I didn't really push or address the issue with the Allen thing because, I'm not sure how to approach it. Things were very weird in the group. Things got very tense, but I didn't want to stress her out while she was, while the first was approaching. I didn't want to do that. So, we just kind of tabled everything, got through her live interview. And there were things that occurred when she was in Vegas, which, this is very detailed, but, there were things that occurred when she was in Vegas that I couldn't understand why she would be saying certain things that she was saying. Or, for instance, we were talking about a Brian Shields video, and she comes out when she's with Eddie and Mike Turber and Wig and somebody else and says, what does this have to do with, with you not liking Turber? This has nothing to do with Turber. And I'm like, what are you talking about? We were talking about a Brian Shields video. But it seemed like, why would you say that? What does this have to do? Why are you doing this now? But things just disintegrated after that. We could never get our friendship back intact. The group was not working cohesively together. There were other issues. I'm not explaining this as well as I probably should, so you can completely understand it, but things fell apart. Long story short, she came back in January of 2019 and told me in a comment under one of Paladin's videos that she actually stopped talking to me, wasn't interested in being my friend anymore because I was looking at the Melissa Ramirez video. So, which I had actually already figured out. At the time, I didn't realize that. At the time, I had no, I didn't think that it was related. I didn't know, But out of her own mouth, she said that it was disturbing to her that we were looking at the Melissa Ramirez video. But fact of the matter is, and I have the live where, we're in December of 2018, she is saying that she, believes that there was a drill going on. We had been talking about the drill for months. We had been going over this information for months. And we had also talked about the suspicious activity with the people that were in that little bar that you can see in the rooftop footage. We were talking about, the suspicious behavior when she was running out, and the people that were just standing there staring at them running out when they were at, they were standing in the chair section, just staring at them running out. I mean, we had a lot of conversations where, it wasn't like, my ideas of the drill came out of nowhere. I mean, this was something that, I had talked about, and she agreed upon, and, and also made mention of things that she experienced herself that, indicated that there could have been people involved in what was going on inside that venue. This, so the fact that this came out so hard and fast after after we went public with it, because, that's what occurred. I mean, after we went public with what we're thinking, boom, that was when shit hit the fan. That's when we became these evil people. That's when we became, these disinfo, horrible people that, that are talking about things that should never be spoken or never being talked about. And it really is something that baffles me, and maybe not so much anymore, but did for a long time, because these were not conversations that were new. And Truth Bomb, you can go ahead and fill in the gap.
Yeah, I did want to ask Truth Bomb the same question, but I just wanted to say the summary of that is that when you started to question that MR video is when everything fell apart. But let me just, I want to know
but I gave you the extra information, Ms. Dawn, because I didn't know that at the time.
Right,
I mean, when we were looking at it, it wasn't like it was this, how dare you, what are you doing? I mean, it was all as a group, so when I found that out months later, because we're talking about I was looking at the video in September, I don't find out until January of 19 that this is why she actually decided she didn't want to be friends with me anymore. Yeah, I mean, it was like, oh, okay, interesting.
I do want to know what Truth Bomb's got to say about this, because
absolutely.
But another thing I wanted to say is, I don't know if you remember this, but I don't know even when it was, but maybe when the whole issue came up about Joe pursuing the Hannity and all that, I don't know when it was exactly, but the first time I ever really ran into you and I had a head-to-head was on an NSERC video, or an NSERC chat anyway, or we were chatting in the comments, and I don't know if you remember this, but we're talking about that particular video. And I said to you, I don't even remember what I said to you, but we kind of logged heads at that point.
I do remember that. I didn't remember it until you just brought it up, but I do remember that. And I am so glad you're bringing that up, because I have been accused for how long now about, I'm hateful towards people who don't believe that nobody died, that don't join my team, and, the crisis actors. So you'll be one person that can definitely say that this was not my mindset back then.
Absolutely not. In fact, I contacted a mutual friend of ours at that point and said, who the hell is this person? I said, I'm not trusting this person because of what just happened. But anyway, so I want to know Truth Bomb.
Yeah, that's funny. I want to hear what he has to say too. But it is funny, and I know the Fred you're talking about. And the fact is, Miss Dawn, I never looked at the video, and this is going to sound very odd. I was way more interested in. I watched the one where Hannity got his makeup done. You know, I watched that one over and over again because I was like, what in the hell? You know, like, are you kidding me right now? How could you do that there? I didn't know who it was at the time, you know, when it first came out way back when. I did not know who was getting their makeup done in that chair, but I was just astounded that they would be doing that. The other one, you know, the actual Ramirez video, I did not watch. And I mean, I had seen it on Tucker Carlson, and I just felt that it was like, for me, this is going to sound so weird, but I just felt it was the wrong thing for me to do, to like watch that, you know?
Well, for the record, I was right.
Yeah. You were. I think wasn't it about the red numbers or something like that? I don't remember.
Yeah,
No, it was about the day. It was about the day. And guess what? You were right. And
I know I was.
Yes, you were. And I was so adamant about that because you know who I was working with to get listen to this. Oh my God, everybody, hope you're sitting down. I was working with Burgundy to get 5x5 out of the hot seat for that. And I'd never talked to 5x5. I didn't, it was because of Burgundy. I was helping him get him out of the hot seat for that. Truth, honest story right there. Like, can you believe that?
Yeah, I believe it because I was arguing with you and I was right.
You lived it, that is true.
So the moral of the story is I believe 100% that what you're telling us about what your motivation was, what your intentions were, up until you saw the light, were 100% genuine, and they still are 100% genuine.
Yeah, they are. They still are. But what the difference here is that my research and the information, the evidence, I mean, we've had a lot more evidence come out since then. We've had all these body cams. I mean, I have watched these body cams, especially the ones around the Reno and Haven area, and I have tried so hard to come up with explanations for the crap I see. And I just can't do it. I mean, I try so hard to get over this mountain that's in front of you, because your logical brain wants to sit here and say to you, this can't be, this just can't be what I'm seeing, And the fact is, I will not sit here and lie to myself. And all I have done is followed where the research has taken me. And I have been very close with a few people in this community and that hasn't changed. And, one of them, they had some opinions about things ahead of time. And I just was like, no way, no way, that can't be, and I was never pushed on having an opinion about, certain things. I was never pushed. When I saw things for myself, I'm going, oh my gosh, wow. And this is where I'm at now, this is where I'm at now.
Can I ask Truth Bomb, can you please just summarize for me? Because we hear KL's story, but I know that this was a group and somehow it ended up with some on one side and some on the other. What's your point of view?
Well, I can go on and on like she did, but everything she said is true. I actually left that group and put this, big long message. I hope everybody can just, one day down the road get along again. And and I said some things in there that even pissed some of them off. but yeah, everything she said was true, and the hatred, I guess, to me, started coming when I released the Melissa Ramirez video. And the comments that night just got extremely heated. And I'm not saying I was right in that, because I probably wasn't. I'll take credit for that. But there was a lot of other people in there that, you know, were doing wrong also. But I didn't delete the thread. I was going to leave it up. People wanted to see my words. They could have seen my words.
Randall,
hold on.
Truth Bomb, I'm sorry. Wait, I gotta say though, no, you know that's not how it went down. I got hate way before you went out that and put that video out, and you know I did.
Well,
I
yes,
took
but
the
you gotta
heat for some channels that weren't mine, but that's when they also went out there and tried to, you know, tell the whole community who Lady Justice was. So let's not forget that part.
Yeah, mute before I mute you.
Hey, by the way, I knew who Lady Justice was the first time I watched it.
Well, I don't know how, and that's interesting. It was.
No, I knew right away. As soon as I watched it, I knew who it was.
It was a very painful experience that I can't never get back. Now, if I can make that video today, Miss Dawn, again, I could probably make that video in 3 or 4 hours, but not a month. But anyway, that's
sorry, maybe I'm wrong then. I mean, I thought the channel belonged to KL. You did the video, obviously, but I
yes.
thought the channel belonged, that the way of thinking, the logic was KL. And
Oh,
I
yes.
thought
it was
100%. Everything in that video was made by her. I can't. Was it that video that we did, or where the ending was like? I don't remember. I can't remember if that was the video. There was one video.
I had written words to the survivors. I had written the words to survivors, and I had written, you know, there was a part for survivors, a part for the victims, a part for you know, people like us who want the answer. And so I'd placed that at the end of the video, and then you had added the music in that.
Yeah, the only thing in that video that was any bit of my idea, and I wasn't sure how she was going to take it, is I changed the music at the end of it. And I said, well, I did something. I want you to see it. But other than that, she ended up liking it. We released the video. The hatred was coming her way. And it was always held over her head that they were going to tell who Lady Justice was. And, you know, her decision behind Lady Justice and not to come out as, you know, okay, I'm the creator of it, was that she wanted it to be a non-biased channel. She wanted it to be something everyone could go to, watch, enjoy, listen to the information being brought forward without, you know, she didn't, even the people who didn't like her or the people who did like her, she didn't want any of them to know that. That way it just looked like a random person putting out, you know, good videos, and it was a non-biased channel. I think I'm right in saying that, right, Kale?
Yes, I wanted it to be completely just information, and, you know, nothing attached to it. No, you know, no bias. I mean, because obviously, you know, I mean, I was not friends with people like Alan Dion, or, you know, I mean, I have strong opinions about things, and I didn't want any of that attached to this video, to this channel, you know, because my intent on that channel was, you know, to put out information that I had been researching for so long, you know, for the truth, especially for victims and survivors. That's why I created the channel, and they knew that.
Well, I could see all the sides of it, but Truth Bomb, after what KL's just told me about the whole history of everything, I was on that live stream on October 1st when what happened. And by that point, you obviously had some pretty strong feelings about stuff. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Well, it had come down to just, hate everywhere I went. And, I was getting attacked in comments, and this was back when I actually did comment. And every time I went on, I was a piece of shit. I was threatened by I'll say it, Eddie Smith. He told me once I got off in the plane in Vegas, he would whoop my ass. I was getting threatened, and then when the video hit, 10, Justice for Who came in there and was making a big scene, and then I guess things just led to lead. It got later and later, and it got dirty and dirty. And again, not saying I was right in that. But yes, I was already heated. I was already heated by some of the things that were said about me in the comment sections on all the way around. When this group broke up, I thought it was going to be, okay, I could be friends with KL and I can be friends with CL and Secret Safe with you. Well, then all of a sudden lies started getting told on me, and I was like, hold on now. Hold the hell on. And it was like, because I would not choose. I was just going to be like one of those guys who just, hey, you guys do what you want to. I'll be friends with everyone. And I was actually kind of forced into choosing which side.
That sounds like a true seeker story. Sorry, true seeker.
And back then, and I've been like, I was where Farmers was. Farmers was one of those people, he tried to get along with everybody, and I was the same way. I was kind of led to where I'm at today, where I just don't care for people. I always, early on in my channel, I always said the First Amendment was the First Amendment. Everybody should have a right to say whatever the hell they want. I don't delete comments. I don't delete people. I'm sure some of you veterans out there that's been here forever can remember me saying that over and over and over. I put the God Bless America in almost every video I create, except for these live streams, because that would be terribly hard. And I just tried to get along with everybody, but I was kind of to me, I was backed into a corner, and the threats came, and the threats came from, Eddie, who I worked with. You can still go back and look at the videos. I worked with him, and just because I finally spoke up and said, no, to hell with this. You're not gonna treat me like this. I don't want anything to do with UCL and this, that, and the other. And then the hate came from him, and it was coming from everywhere. And then all of a sudden they switched and changed forces, and now Alan Dion's fucking best friends with them, and I don't even know where to start with that shit.
How are you forced to choose?
Well, because when they lied about me to you, and you kind of you asked me, and I told you the truth, and you was like, okay. But I felt like that painted me, pinned me back in a corner, and you're not gonna lie on me. And then
did I force you to choose?
No, you never asked me to do anything. And I hate the way the group went. I hate the way it went down, because, like KL said, I thought we had friends for life. I thought this group was never going to go anywhere. This was going to be, and unfortunately it did. And no, she didn't force me to choose. I felt like I was forced to choose because I was lied about. So yeah, I stuck with KL, and I'd make that decision 350 times if I had it to do over 350 more times. I just, the whole thing's a bunch of bullshit, Miss Dawn. If you want to know my true opinion of it, it was all a bunch of bullshit. I tried to help her out. And I want everybody to understand why this was happening. There was no TB who thought anything like he thinks today. We were all on the same page of what we thought. We were just looking into things that somebody didn't want us to look into. And this became very obvious today that they don't want us looking into it. And I'm sorry, this whole MR video is very strange to me. It's very strange to me. It to this day, it's strange. It's going to be strange tomorrow, and probably forever for me. But I guess that's basically without just sitting here for 3 hours talking about it. But I'm sure there'll be some rebuttals on what we've had to say today. But we just told you the truth.
Well, that's why I was interested, because I have to tell you that, okay, I don't know what I should say. Back in like January of 2008, December 17, January 2018, I was asked by somebody to set up a forum. Actually, I was just asked if I could help, and I ended up setting up the forum completely. And there were a couple hundred people that actually joined, and it was really, 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 really bad timing for me. But I spent, because my daughter was leaving the country, and we had company come here, but I still did it. I put a lot of effort into that, and I asked for no credit. In fact, I said, I don't want anybody to say my name. I just want to do it for you and be done. So I set up this forum, and then I was commenting there, but I was commenting as Miss Dawn, not as the administrator. I was actually the head administrator of that forum. And, but I would comment as Miss Dawn. And my feeling at that time, and we're going back to January of 2017-18, was not much different than what it is right now. And I always felt that even though there were a lot of people that were traumatized, even though there were people that were killed, even though that there were people that were injured, in my opinion, however that happened, there were people that were staged, in my opinion. I felt that from the get-go. And so I would say that. I'd say that on that forum. And the next thing you know, I was told I had to leave that forum. Not told I had to leave it. I was told I wasn't welcome there. There was a thread that started about me and how I had run off the person who originally had this idea for the forum, and how I was such a terrible person because I said that bearing in mind, I have no history about false flags. I have no history about anything about any of this stuff, because I've never been on YouTube before. I've never been involved in the conspiracy cult before, or anything with anything. So I was just saying what I saw, and what I saw was there were people there that were pre-staged, and according to the definitions on YouTube and on elsewhere, those people were called crisis actors. And I said there were those people. That doesn't mean there weren't thousands of people that weren't crisis actors, but I said there were crisis actors there. And I got run right off that forum, that forum, even though I was the head administrator of it. And so even back at that time, and that was long before KL, that was long before when you guys were still having your group thing, and I was still arguing with KL on NSERV's videos. I had this in my mind already, and I was probably one of very few that was thinking that way, and I had a really hard time being able to communicate with people, because I don't know if I was ahead of people, or if I saw something others didn't see, or people were emotionally involved with other people that they couldn't see stuff. But even the whole Turber video and all that, I was way ahead of even Joe on that. So for me, this has been a hell of a struggle to end up where we are right now. With the groups that we have and the animosity that we have. I've struggled all the way through since probably October of 2017.
Well, I personally haven't struggled since January of 17. I think my struggles came later in 2018, probably. I would guess October, November, December, something like that. I'm sorry you had to go through that. I'm sorry. Sorry that everybody has to go through what we go through, but I tried to make the other day. I said I'm not interested in your piece, but I will make you a deal. You leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. I think that's good for the community. I have no interest in talking to certain people anymore. I don't want to be brought up in a comment. I don't want to be brought up in. I won't bring them up in a comment. I don't think that's too much to ask for.
I want to talk about what she was just talking about with this forum, and I know the forum you're talking about, and I know who you're referring to, and I'm not going to say who they are, but obviously, hindsight's 2020 for me. And I will tell you this, Ms. Dawn, it took me a little while to accept what I was, what was seeing, what was playing out in front of me, what I was seeing in, some of the body cams that came out. And then, looking into, that Ramirez video and look, the things that were playing out in front of my eyes, it took me a while. And part of the reason why it took me a little while to even accept that could be going on is because I took to heart so much what, the one person in my life that was there and, lived through this. I was so I think protective over what that experience was that, I kind of, went an extra mile because, she was my friend. And when you're my friend, I'm very loyal to my friends. So, I was very concerned about, the effect that it had on her or other people, that, just wanting to know what was happening, what was going on, what actually occurred. So I didn't really pay attention to, some of the other things that were being said out there, as far as, actors and that. I was not, I was not really in that because, we live in a world where people have their opinions and I was more focused on the information and, the fact that you can tell, there were so many holes in what we were told. And there is absolutely no way that what we're being told was the truth. I was so laser focused on that part of it that I didn't really, consider, the other things that, I obviously now consider very much, but I'm very thankful that I did that because I know that I gave it every chance to be. I gave the narrative every chance. I gave the event every chance. I gave, I approached that from a perspective of, I welcomed everything with open arms, and then I let the research and the evidence guide me to where I am today. And I am really thankful that I did that because I don't want to be a person that rules out something, ahead of time just because, I think that it was, I think that it was a drill, right off the bat, or I think that it was, not real or, something like that. So I very much appreciate that I've kind of evolved to where I am today, based on the fact that I truly let information and evidence lead me here, instead of, letting that wall kind of prevent me from seeing one way or another,
Well, can I just say that you know what, I care very much about the victims and I care very much about the survivors. And it's not that I believe that anybody's faking it. Okay. I'm not here to say that at all.
No, I know what
I
you're saying,
know.
but you're saying that you believe that that was a huge possibility that there were crisis actors involved.
I
Right?
felt that
From the very beginning. Yeah.
from the very first time I saw Becker's photos, and I scrutinized them and I went through every one of them, and then I felt that way right away. Now that's basically what I do for, well, what I did before I became disabled, did for a job, is I went into places and I saw a problem and then I worked a fix out of it. I didn't say, okay, well, here's a bunch of issues and now I'm going to decide what the problem is. I saw the problem. That's just how I operate, is
Right.
that I see the big picture and then I can drill down to the, but I already know what the answer is. I do. It's just something I'm the person that I am. But that doesn't mean to say my daughter's acquaintance, my daughter's friends, cousins, my other daughter who had a group of 8 people that were in Las Vegas that night. I mean, there were a lot of Canadians down there that I know and that I've talked to and that I've sat across from them and had conversations with them. They are traumatized. They're devastated. I'm not denying that. They think they saw things that I don't actually believe they saw. Like, for instance, one of the guys was telling me last year that he saw a window that was 2 windows above 32135 that was broken out the next morning when he was standing in the tram. I'm not going to believe that. I don't believe it, but that's what he thinks he saw. I think a lot of survivors think they saw things.
I completely agree with that, Miss Dawn. And I just want to make sure you understand too, when I am explaining to you, I guess I'm explaining to you, like what my mindset, what my block was, because I was so loyal to this one person. I wasn't referring to, like what you thought, because I appreciate where you've been. I've heard what you've said. I've heard what you've said about who you knew there. And then also I knew that you had believed that there were crisis actors, involved from the very beginning. I put blinders to that, I think, in the very beginning. And I have been, razzed for it a little bit. And obviously I've been through the ringer for what I think now. But I'm just trying to express that I appreciate the fact that I gave that so much, effort to try and sort through that and stay with where I was, despite what I kept seeing. You know what I mean? I tried so hard to come up with rational explanations for the things that I saw, for the things that, led me, the research that led me what I think now, the body cams that I saw. I tried so hard to make excuses for it, to come up with reasonable explanations for it, to understand it, and even when, I'm getting slammed by this person, who turned on me on the drop of a dime, and I didn't understand why. I was asked, why do you think that is? Do you believe her? Do you, and I still said, yes, I do. I don't believe that, I believe that she believes what happened to her. I believe that. And, I can't say that same thing today. And that's really hard for me to say, honestly, because I want to believe that she believes it. I want to believe that, that that's the case, that that's what occurred. But boy, I struggle with it because, for instance, I mean, and this might be just a little thing, but it's a little thing in a pile of big things. And when you've got a little thing like, the after after the event, when you say you went to one hotel and then months later you have video and say you went to another, that bothers me. There are things that bother me. And the fact that that you go out of your way now to slander me, to slay me, to act as I'm this horrible person that, that you didn't know what I thought or what I, my thoughts as they evolved. You knew what my thoughts were as they evolved. And I only became this horrible, awful person after I, went public with it. And I relate this to what you were talking about with that forum. It's like when you go public with what your thoughts are, you are, that's it. So, it seems to me as soon as you went public with saying in this forum that had 200 or 300 people in it, that, well, this is what I think occurred. You acknowledge that there could be multiple events happening here, and that the people that suffered through this, that are truly traumatized, don't know and don't really had an event occur to them, right? And then, you acknowledge that there were other things occurring at the same time, that indicate that, that this was a staged event to an extent, right?
Well,
But the minute you put words to it, you are slain. And that's just suspicious behavior to me,
that's exactly what's happened to all of us. If you look back
Yeah.
at, if you put it to words, and that doesn't, and that gets taken out of context, because I never said there were 20,000 people there that were all crisis actors. I never said you were a crisis actor. I never said what you're telling us is untrue.
Right.
All I said was, from what I can see, regardless of what happened with the other 19,500 people, or how many ever other people you want to put to this thing, there were people that did know what was going on, and that's what I said back then. And as soon as I said that, I was torn out of that forum, and I was the head administrator. In fact, I'm still the head administrator of that forum. And that's I've tried to be very careful and be respectful of people, because I know that person who lost a child in Las Vegas, the friend of my daughter's acquaintance, my daughter's, I mean, I ran into her in a pub that, like, probably about 3 months after the guy died. I mean, this is real to me. This isn't a game. This is real to me. And
Right.
I respect what people went through and respect what people have to say. But when it gets to a point where I'm having a conversation, and that particular conversation was that one of the witnesses, which was Rick, the guy who his friend was the girl who died. Do you remember the one that died of the epileptic fit or whatever? So Rick was with her, and he said he saw fireworks. He saw fireworks when the first sounds were made. And it wasn't just him who said it. I had two people and this is way back when, I had two videos of people who said they saw the fireworks. And that's what the argument was about. It wasn't even really about crisis actors. It was about a witness saying that they saw something, and her saying that did not happen. And I said, but this is what the witnesses are telling us. We have to respect the witness's point of view. And her saying, no, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. And then I'm going, well, what's going on here? What's going on here that we can't respect everybody's point of view? That's just your point of view. That's just what you saw. That's not what other people saw. And why can't we respect everybody?
I saw that conversation. I know the one you're talking about exactly. I remember that.
Were you on that thread? Were you on that forum?
I saw screenshots of that conversation.
Okay. All right. So it's no disrespect to the other 22,000, 40,000, 6,000, how many ever other people were at that event that night. I don't believe for a minute they were all involved in this. But you can't tell me that some other witness who's standing up and saying, I saw that, and two other witnesses, I saw that, I heard that, I heard shots, you can't say no, because you didn't hear it.
Are you still there?
I'm still here, I had to take a breath.
And, you know, I know exactly what you're talking about because I witnessed a conversation with that same survivor that argued with another survivor about that survivor believing that they had heard that the gunfire was coming through the speakers. And that was in a Facebook group, and this survivor was pretty adamant about, you know, believing that they were hearing gunfire through the speakers. And you know, and I had a talk with the survivor saying, you know, it's not your place to go and tell them what they experienced, just as much as you want to have the room to tell your story and what you experienced that night. You have to respect the fact that you don't know what that person experienced, what they believed, what, you know, what could have happened. And as a matter of fact, for that particular conversation, I had said, you know my thoughts on this, you know what I think about this being a possible drill. It's quite possible they did hear recorded gunfire through the speakers. But it's, you know, just because that's not what you experienced that night or what you personally heard, you know, based on where you were in the venue, what you think happened, it's not your place to go and tell them what they heard or what they think happened. And, you know, I also had a heated conversation with somebody else who was defending the other survivor because of how they, you know, handled the conversation with her, my friend.
Well, you know that Renee, she, you know, I respect all of the survivors. Let me please say that 100%, if I made that perfectly clear already. But Renee says she heard something, and you know, we all know that people think they, you know, perhaps hear things or they're convinced they hear things. In fact, I was at a trial a couple of years ago where this prosecutor came up to me, we're talking, he said that he had something like, I mean, literally something like 100 witnesses, and they all virtually gave a slightly different story until they got the video, and it was not the same as any of those 100 people. So the truth is that you can't 100% rely on anybody's testimony, but you have to understand that your testimony is only as valuable as the other 22,000. You can't dismiss the other 22,000.
Can I add something to that?
Absolutely.
Well, as we all know, there was a retired police officer with a 911 call saying that the sounds are coming from the speakers. There's absolutely no one getting shot. Now, he was at the venue. I would think that would make him a survivor, right? Is his opinion not good? Because, I mean, it just goes on. It goes with what you guys are saying. You know, you can't pick and choose which one you want to hear and which one you don't want to hear. Just because you don't, you know, it didn't happen to you, or you might not have seen it, or this, that, and the other, I guess is my point. They both left.
No, I'm here. I just thought it was KL's turn.
KL's like a stable on this channel, so you take as many turns as you want, Miss Dawn.
No, that's just how I feel about it. You're absolutely right, Truth Bomb, that, you know, we have to look at everybody's point of view, and I'm not going to be pigeonholed by one person. And that does not mean that I don't totally respect their point of view and totally respect them as a person, but they don't make up the rules for everybody else. And that's basically what I was saying going back to January, February of 2018. That's what I was saying, is you can't speak for other people. And that was what got me.
Well, Miss Dawn, when it comes to survivors of this event, I don't care if the sounds were coming from the speakers. They still thought they were being shot at.
Absolutely.
So there is an event here that I understand that, scared the ever living shit out of them. I'm sure of it. So, I mean, I don't want that to get, twisted. I do think that, there is probably trauma. There is probably things that go on, even though the way I think that even though there was an event, because there's no way in hell that anyone in the world can tell me. I say there was about 6,000 people there. I've heard upwards of 12, 13,000. You can't tell me in between either one of those numbers that every one of them were actors, because I don't believe that. I really don't believe that. You got to have a panic. You do. In order to pull off what I think happened there that night, you have to have panic. And that's just the way I feel about it.
Can you imagine yourself in that situation? And the thing that drew me to this whole investigation was my daughter is a huge Jason Aldean fan. She's seen him, I think that would have been her 4th time, or maybe she's already seen him 4 times. But anyway, she has never been to Las Vegas. She's a huge traveler. She's living in Australia now, but she wanted to go to Las Vegas so bad that year, and she would have done anything to go to. I personally don't like country music, but she wanted to go to that concert. She would love to see Jason Aldean. She goes to festivals all the time. She would have come back a different person, and I completely understand that those people, whatever happened to them, are different people from what happened from that event.
And I can agree with that.
And even one of the girls, who was a group of 8 who was not at the concert, last September, she had to take some time off work because she was still dealing with PTSD, and she wasn't even part of the concert. So I know that people were traumatized, even people just visitors to that city. And there's no disrespect for any of those people coming from me.
Well, I don't mean any disrespect to anybody that was there either. Have I had a go around with 1 or 2 of them? Yes. I don't speak of them anymore, except for tonight. It was brought up, but I don't go out of my way to speak about either one of them anymore. I try to stay away from them. And again, there was an event there that night. And it scared the shit out of people. I have zero doubt about that. So that being said, I had something else, but I got the reading comments and lost my train of thought.
I did too. I had 2 things that I was thinking of, and I should really write them down. But so
I think that this was a good live stream, and I'm glad you got your story out. I'm glad Kale got to, get her story out. And as far as, everything else, I'm down with Vegas talks, man. Let's go talk Vegas. I am 100% down with that. And I can respect people's opinions. I'm not going to force my opinion on you by no means.
I was just going to say, I really love the fact that there's a lot of people that are bringing up old videos now and talking about them, old issues. Hunter did one. Truth Seeker's done several. Lady Justice has done them. Eric Peters, like there's a lot of Brian Shields is amazing. There's some great videos out there rehashing stuff that we kind of there was so much coming at us back in those days that we just sort of went, okay, well that's a good enough reason to put it on the back burner. But the truth is we never did get resolution to them, and I'm really glad that people are bringing this stuff back up again. And I'm sure there's a lot of other stuff that people aren't ready or not willing to put on the table because it is exactly what's happening to me. I mean, I'm just a nobody. I'm just a commenter, and I'm getting hacked like crazy, and who knows where it's coming from. And people are being abused and doxxed and all sorts of things that have happened. So you got to tread carefully. We don't know what this is all about in the big picture. But that doesn't mean to say that we shouldn't keep talking about it, and we sure shouldn't be talking about people that are irrelevant, frankly.
And I agree with that. And I'm gonna keep on doing my shows. And you know, again, if you don't like me, just unsubscribe. Let's just call it done. I'm good with that. You know, you don't have to watch me. You don't have to be a part of my chats. You don't have to be anything. You can put old TB out of your minds for all I care. I'm good with that. There's a lot of things that we still can talk about, things that haven't been talked about. The rehashing of old videos, you know, you're right. There was so much coming at us. And we had channels out there that are still out there today with the same theories. You know, I mean, there's got to be a point where we can all go, you know, all go back and look at these things. And if we're wrong, we're wrong. If we're right, we're right. You know, at least we're still doing it. At least we're still out here trying to find the truth. And with that, I think you go ahead.
I think KL's back, but for me, it's trying to prove the truth, not find it. I found it.
I can get behind that also.
Well, I just want to say that, you know, I have definitely continued on with my Vegas research and, you know, putting out videos about Vegas research. But the reason why we sat here tonight through this whole live, what Ms. Dawn has experienced with, you know, the hacking and manipulation of her personal information, her personal private information, as well as myself, hacking into somebody's personal private information is a crime. And the fact that we have someone in the community that seems to pride themselves on this type of behavior and taking advantage of people like that, or threatening it, or insinuating it, and then defending a person who sits there and does nothing but degrade and harass and insult and scream F-bombs and freak out on people and get hammered and fall down all over the place and is just a messy piece of shit. And the fact that that person goes out and defends, you know, that type of behavior and you know, the attacks and everything else. When we say we want to get back to Vegas, I mean, I do too. But to me, the only reason they're here, the only reason I'm here, and the only reason I would be an interest to them is because of Vegas. And that is a concern that I think we all need to be aware of. We all need to stay cognizant of. We all need to have that in our minds, you know, as we see this information, as we see these videos coming out, as we see these attacks occurring, you know, that needs to be in the forefront of your mind. Because I have been an open book here. I don't play those games. I don't sit here and act like I'm something I'm not. I don't sit here and hint at, you know, being this top secret, you know, bullshit person, whatever. I don't do that. Here I am above board. This is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. This is why I'm here. I don't play any little games that I see constantly being played, and I'm not here to manipulate people. But there are obviously people here who are doing that and taking part in it, and that's just something that you really need to be mindful of while you're, you know, doing Vegas, researching Vegas, commenting on Vegas, and it's just time that people take a stand against this type of behavior.
I can agree with that.
And I can third that.
I mean, there needs to be something done. I mean, I would rather come on and hear, and I don't need. We're at 70 people watching right now. I don't need 70 people. If I'm only talking to 5 people, that's 5 people that actually want to hear me talk and want to hear, the evidence we're going to bring to the table, and they can agree or they cannot agree. That's totally up to them. But I do think this was, unfortunately, it's a live stream that's, got to happen. It needs to happen because some of these things need to be brought to light, and the community. YouTube's not going to do anything about it. We all know that. The community can. And again, the whole doxing bullshit, that shit needs to stop.
Truth Bomb, I just wanted to say one other thing I remembered before I forget. One of the things that I tried to say to M. Collins the other day that got removed, or maybe it didn't get removed, I don't know, maybe this one's still there, but one of the things I tried to say to her was, there was a time, a long, long time ago in my life, that I argued with a psychologist because it was somebody who I was getting training from at that time, that people could make you feel a certain way. People can make victims feel that way. People can make people who've been in bad situations feel something. And I argued that. They can. Absolutely they can. Like, what if somebody raped my daughter? What if somebody killed my child or something like that? And I said, of course, it's that person. It's what they did that makes me feel the way I feel. And what she argued with me, and she was right, is that she said, so let's say somebody kills your daughter. What are you going to feel? And I said, I'm going to feel devastation. I'm going to feel heartbreak. I'm going to feel like I don't want to live anymore. Okay, that was when I only had one daughter, but I have a whole bunch more kids. But of course, it wouldn't matter what the situation was. So I said, I'm going to feel all those things. And she said, okay, so what would your husband feel? And I said, he'd feel angry. He'd feel rage. He'd feel like he wanted to go out and kill somebody. And she said, so you don't own his feelings and he doesn't own your feelings, but you each own your own feelings, your own reaction to things. So all this drama, all this talk about, you're making us feel this way. We feel bad. You're hurting us. All this drama about that. You know what? You own your own feelings. And if it's not working for you, you move on, you find another way, you get some counseling, you do whatever you got to do. But you don't need to be sitting here subjected to what we're saying and saying we're making you feel something, because we're not. And I really wanted to get that point out because I don't think I have before.
Well, that's a great point, and that goes right back to me saying you don't have to listen to me. Look, unsubscribe. Don't listen. I mean, that makes perfect sense. That's a very, very good comment.
Well, I argued it. I argued it. And I didn't agree with it because I felt that if you're being perpetrated, then or something it was imposed upon you, then it's that person making you feel that way. But the truth is that we're all going to feel something differently, and you have to manage your own feelings and manage your own whatever you're subjecting yourself to, whatever you're watching, whatever you're whatever conversations you're getting in with people. That's you own it. And so if it's not good, if it's not working for you, then move out. That's what I got to say.
Very, very good comment. Kelly, you want to say anything to that?
I will have to admit I was distracted by something that was being said in the chat.
And it was so important.
I'm so sorry, Miss Dawn. I
You're
did
gonna
get
have to go back and watch, to go back and listen to
I
it.
will. I will. I am sorry. I just got caught up in what Dalen was saying about his friend's cousin's friend. And I was trying to follow that storyline.
So what was the story? Come on, fill us in.
He's saying that he was told, and I'm thinking he's talking about the concert, but my friend's cousin friend got shot in the head twice and survived. Military, ... yet again. And Giveaway was asking if he was being sarcastic, and Dalen says, unfortunately not, that's the story. And Giveaway says, oh my God, seriously, I thought you had been messing with us. And Dalen said, with the 223, I go shooting a lot. It's pretty wild to believe. So I was kind of just reading through this to see what the story was. I'm assuming he was talking about, somebody was saying that about his friend's cousin's friend at the concert. Is that right, Dalen? Now that I'm talking about it, can you just confirm that that's what you're saying? Because the military part confused me.
Plain and simple truth. Thank you for the comments today. I don't think you were in here earlier when I said it at the beginning of the live stream, but yes, that was a very good video, and thank you for all the kind words.
Yeah, that. Thanks, Dalen. I just wanted to make sure I was following that right. That's the story guys don't know anymore. He didn't want to interrogate. Can completely understand that, what you're saying. But that's what he was told, that his friend's cousin's friend was shot in the head twice and survived. That's amazing.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, well, I'm going to ask this, and I'm going to ask it to the chat, because my big ass mouth has been on here Sunday, I think, Tuesday, and now Thursday.
No, yes, at the concert. Yeah, yes, at the concert. Sorry, I'm sorry. Nene said it was in the military, not concert, but Dalen says, yes, it was at the concert. Go back and listen to the live 5x5. You know what you've done. You've done it to everybody. You know what you've done to people, and you know what you tried to do to me. So I'm not doing this. This is your chat. TB, if it was me, I would remove him immediately, but I'm not going to do it because it's your live. So
you got a wrench?
I'm not playing his game anymore. It's just disgusting to me.
Get him out. But anyway. All right, I don't know if I'm still live or not. Oh, yeah, I am. Okay. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys. If Paladin and the Matt live is going to be on Saturday, I will be home tomorrow. If you guys want to do a call-in show, that is up to you. Again, I have been on here Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday now. So if you guys want to do a live call-in show, I will do one. If you want to take a break from my big ass mouth, I totally get that too. I welcome anybody into those things that can be respectful, regardless of your opinion of what happened. So I will wait for some of your opinions on here in the chat.
We actually don't get to hear you talk very often, Truth Bomb. So we're not tired of hearing you.
Damn, KL.
Hey, I have to take the blame tonight. She might get the blame.
So she's tired of hearing me.
No.
Fine.
No. It's great that you're having all these people on and everybody has the opportunity to say what they want to say. I mean, I've been on other live streams with NSERV and I don't always get to say everything I want to say. This particular time, it was really important for me to get out a lot of stuff, and I really appreciate that you just gave me the opportunity to get it all out. And but you are very quiet, and I have to say I really appreciate being able to come to your channel and just be involved in the chat, and even if you don't talk very much, and KL does all the talking.
Well, it's usually KO and Nene, and when those two get together, it's hell. I could probably go to sleep and wake up with the chat, with the live still going. They'd probably still be going.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time we watched the chat where somebody fell asleep. Oh my goodness! I was watching Smokey Perkins a couple of weeks ago, and all of a sudden he's snoring, like he was literally snoring. Oh my goodness! And another one, it was just like, I'm taking the dog out for a walk. I'm going with the dog. Oh! You guys are still there? I'm going with the dog. That was another one. Oh, so you can go to sleep. We'll keep it going. All right, your guests will keep it going. Don't you worry.
Oh yeah, I'm aware. I like the call-in shows. I think they're good. I don't know if I should say this live or not, but I will. And I'll ask KL this. I kind of want to talk the Maroon 5. If he wants to call in, or if he's still in the chat. I know he was earlier. I do actually want to go over this damn video that he's been going at for a long time now. I don't know how KL feels about that. If you're ready to talk about that or not, but if you do, I would like to talk to him.
Yeah, I thought some of the viewpoints he had was fascinating. I will say this though, that you brought him up. When he came on the last live and it was, geez, I think that was the one that we did for like 7.5 hours.
Oh God.
Right. And so I think he had fallen asleep because he was going to come on earlier in the night, and he had fallen asleep, and then he just came in because you had sent him the link, and boom, he was there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. And
it was really interesting. I listened to that.
A lot of good, interesting things to say. He had some, a lot of different perspectives besides just talking about the Maroon 5 video. Although I will say that, since then I have watched the video, and it is there's a lot of interesting stuff in that video, a lot of interesting stuff, but he had also had some things to say in the beginning when he first came on about Paladin. And when he had said them, I was, there were a lot of things going on. First of all, I think it was like 4 a.m. or something. I mean, it was super late, and I was super tired, and we'd already been on the live for hours. And, but I was also, I had, some just different things going in my mind, and I really didn't process what he said at the time. I didn't do it until I listened back to the live, and he had said something about, he had an opinion of Paladin, and I just wanted to say that I think that he should, just maybe rethink that. It was kind of a knee-jerk opinion, I think, at the time, and I think that if he got to know or had a chance to have a conversation with Paladin, and it wasn't just about like repeating the Maroon 5 video over and over and over, the interaction with Paladin would be a lot different. And I would like to see him give that opportunity, because nobody knew anything about Maroon 5 except for that he had constantly asked about the Maroon 5 video. So
I can't say that didn't frustrate me too in the very beginning.
Right.
And then I
so I
stopped
think,
paying attention to it.
Right. And I think that the interaction in the chat maybe gave him, gave him an impression of Paladin that wasn't accurate. And I just wanted to say that what he said, was totally inaccurate. And I didn't really even catch it at the time, when it was said. And so
I think I was sleeping.
yeah, I'd like to just say that, he just didn't give a fair, that wasn't an accurate representation of Paladin at all. So.
All right. Well,
That's all. But yeah, I'd love to hear what he has to, I'd love to hear more about him. And I saw him, just please don't change the Maroon 5 video to the Madonna one, because I saw him say something in the chat way early on, something about watching the new Madonna video.
Well, let's get through the first one first.
Yeah.
All right.
I think he was just teasing Paladin, because he always, every time Paladin comes out, he says, "Have you seen the Maroon 5 video?" And Paladin gets so pissed off.
Well, I seen Paladin get frustrated in that, and I can't say I haven't been there.
Yeah, and who knew? I mean, then the kid comes on and it's like, well, who are you? This is not the guy I've been seeing in the chat.
Actually, you know what? I heard him talking in a chat one time, and it was almost like it was two different people. And I kept saying to you guys, it was one of Truth Bomb's live streams. I kept saying to you guys, get him on. He wants to come on. And Paladin's like, he wasn't happy with him because it was the whole Maroon 5 thing. And I said, no, seriously, I think this guy's got some information. And it took weeks and weeks before he finally came on, but he did have some information for sure.
Well, we actually had given him the opportunity on, was that on? Yeah, I think that was on TB's channel, where he had wanted to come in, and then we said, okay, come on in. And then he's like, no, I don't want to come in. No, maybe I won't. And then, do you remember that, Truth Bomb?
I do.
Yeah. And then we're like, okay, then forget it. And then he's like, well, now I do want to come on. We're like, too late.
If he wants to come on, I will talk to him, because I think we have some screenshots of that video.
Yeah, I took a lot of screenshots of that. I just thought there was a lot of very interesting information in there that does not relate to what lovers do at all, as far as I know. Anyway,
no, it doesn't. All right,
very
odd. Now 1:43 here on the East Coast, so
yeah.
I've got to work in the morning. And Miss Dawn, would you like to say anything else in closing?
I just want to say thanks for letting me on and let me have the opportunity to talk and organizing this with me throughout the day, because, I mean, it seems like pretty easy to somebody who's sitting there in the live stream, but the truth is there's probably a fair bit of organization that goes into every one of these, or most of them anyway. And so I appreciate that you allowed me to have the opportunity to say what I wanted to say, and I really enjoyed hanging out with you guys, so thanks.
Well, you are definitely more than welcome to ever come on if you want to. I think we had a very good discussion after we got the crap out of the way, so thank you, and thank you for coming on.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Miss Dawn.
Anything to close, Kay?
I've already said my closing. The crap that you refer to is just another stream of crap involving Vegas. I don't want that downplayed anymore. That's just important.
You got it. And with that being said, you guys know how I close it. Thank you for everybody that came into the chat and listened to us. Thank you to the moderators. Thank you, KO. Thank you, Miss Dawn. And remember who's watching you. And on to the next.
Good night.
Good night.